Star. Congrats, Star, on getting first. And Haru, yeah, thank you so much for the head pat ammo. I really appreciate it. It really surprised me. I was really happy. Is my mic working? Okay, good, it's working. How are you guys doing? We have Simpy the Shrimpy here with us because we are playing a dating sim visual novel thing. No worries, happy you like it. Yes, I love it. It's so cute. And now people can stop asking for a head pat redeem because they could just do it in chat with emotes. Because I was very adamant about that not being a thing. Oh yeah, I also fixed the bonk, I think. It's lined up properly again. I did that literally like 10 minutes before stream because I forgot. Maybe 20 minutes. Okay, I'll give myself some. We can still do this. Oh god, no. Is that lined up properly? Yeah, that's lined up better. Thank you for the boop. Yeah, I changed some of the what's it called? I don't know what I was saying. I changed something. Oh, I changed how much stuff cost on some of the things. So some stuff is cheaper now in poop. Because that's what it is. I forgot that when I was changing it. I forgot that I named the points Magical Trixie Poop. So yeah, you're spending Magical Trixie Poop. Because I'm a dumbass and couldn't think of anything else. But yes, how's everyone's day going? Before we start the game, I actually wanted to... Ah, Trixie! Thank you for redeeming Trixie. Let's see if she's lined up. She's lined up, yes! Before we begin, I wanted to ask people's opinion on what you want to be called and what I should how I should welcome new followers. Because right now, what I have it as is like, I think I have it as, people. No, that's so boring, Star. People. Hello, you people. Boring. Boring. I had some ideas. I had like, because I have cards, the placeholder right now for welcoming people is welcome to my card deck. Like I'm putting you guys in a card deck for some reason. You're a magician, so wouldn't we be your audience? Ooh, that's actually true. That'd make my life so much easier. Cause I was like, cardlings, my deck of cards, my tricksters. I was like but yeah, audience. That'd make my life so much easier because that's what I call you guys viewers, so audience wouldn't be far off. Yeah. But yeah, I had like so many bad ideas written down and I didn't know. So what should so if we're gonna call you guys the audience, which makes sense, I was thinking another one was like for new followers, like welcome to the circus. Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute, Haru. That's so cute. Welcome to the circus, because magicians are in circus and sometimes I have a clown nose on, so I thought it made sense. But someone, I won't name any names, said the idea wasn't good. So I kind of was like, I don't know. Well, not wasn't good. You could also say welcome to the show. Yeah. Welcome to the show. Yeah. You're making this very simple, Haru, and I like it. Cause yeah, right now I have it as, what do I have it as? Let's see, yeah, to my card deck. And I was like, I don't know if that makes sense. So let me know your ideas throughout the stream. I'm thinking of a classic magician shows. I remember what they would say. Oh, I've actually never seen a magician show except on TV. So should we go welcome to the show? For now? Until more people show up and can give more ideas. But for now, we can have welcome to the show. But yes, we're gonna be playing. How are you? Did I ask how you guys were doing? I'm doing good. I'm feeling better than I have in a while, so I'm happy about that. And we're also gonna be playing. Oh wait, why is that open? Okay, we're gonna be playing. As you can see, our life beginnings and always, and bad VA to come. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the audience, welcome to the show. Oh my gosh, Haru, you're a genius. Yeah, I can say that. Let me write that down. Ah. I'll be back in I don't know what that. Oh, a moment. Okay. Okay, Haru. Okay, I have that written down. Okay, and then that. Okay, so if yes, I'll say that and we'll see how it sounds. Okay, let me get the game running. Since we have that, we can talk about it more while we play if people want to put ideas out there. But I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the audience, welcome to the show. Let me get the game. We played this game for 23 hours, Jesus. Gameplay? Are we capturing it? Yes, okay. Good. It is I, the Rai Rai. I'm gonna lurky. Okay, thank you, Rai Rai. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for being here. Oop, there we go. How's the game volume? I need to turn it up for me. Okay. Okay, what are we gonna... Are we just gonna continue? Where were we? I don't remember. Oh, we were gonna pick something, yeah. Okay, charity drive, reflection, late shift, serendipity, boating, happiness. Aw. That sounds so cute. I'm assuming the charity thing has to do with Cove's and mine because I chose to... Volume okay? Thank you, Star. Because I chose to also be a part of that charity event that he does for cleaning up the beaches, I believe it is. So I guess we could just get started. Oh yeah, we have blue hair in here, huh? Oh yeah, the orca thing. Okay. Bad VA. I'm back. Welcome back, Haru. That's such a cute shirt. That's so pretty, the sky and everything. Cove pushed himself to his feet from where he had been bent down in the sand, stretching out his back and groaning softly. A tired breath slipped past his lips as he wiped his brow, looking out over the shore. The head pat. That's so cute. Thank you so much again, Haru. What was Cove's voice again? I don't fucking remember. I should really go look over the streams to see what I make them sound like, but I don't because I'm not a good streamer. It looks great. You stood behind him, joining in the surveying of the sand that almost seemed to sparkle beneath the midday sun. The two of you had been looking out on the beach since sunrise, cleaning up and down to the beach looking for various debris, and the work had paid off. Using a hand to shield your eyes from the blinding rays, you glanced across the way where where the other volunteers from Orca were gathered. They were easily recognizable by the high-vis vests they wore. It looked as though everyone was about ready to wrap things up for the day. I'm exhausted. I'm glad you did great, Cove. I'm happy to see it. Yeah, I'm happy to see it in a better state. It was pretty sad looking when we got here. The beaches of this part of town were practically your own personal backyard, and you visited them a lot. It felt good knowing that you were helping to take care of them. Too bad not everyone sees the joy in putting trash where it belongs. Oh well. Cove placed his hands on his hips and a pleased grin pulling out the corner of his mouth as he admired the work you'd both done. You had begun to realize during your time volunteering for the organization how seriously Cove took his service. It was easy to see that this was something important to him. You felt equally as vested and always gave your best effort. Probably. You enjoyed the work, but also wanted to have a good time. Miranda was right. You volunteered because it was good reference. You didn't want to be there, but you didn't know how to turn it down. No, we felt equally as invested. It was always important that the ocean you grew up with was protected. It had always been a big part of your life, and you felt the least you could do was give back to it in some way. Hey, nice work, Ara. His smug-ass face. Thanks. It's been a good year so far. It's crazy to think that it's already time to push the big event. You let out a big breath thinking of the formal dinner that Orca organized every year. Being a completely fundraising-focused event for large donors, it was crucial for the organization's projects in the year to come. You had to be over 18 to attend, so this was your first opportunity to actually see it in person. All you had heard about it so far was that it was prim and proper, occasion with speeches and everything. You didn't know what else to expect from it as you weren't a part of the group who had planned the evening. Before the big night came around, the volunteers would have to sell the tickets for it, and that's where you'd be helping. Yeah, I'm probably nervous. Because I would be nervous. You looked down at the stand shyly, twisting your fingers together. It was going to be fancy and full of very important strangers. I could agree with you there. It's part of the program, though. I just don't feel excited about attending a super formal meal with proper etiquette and stuff, you know? He threw his arms out to the side, making a bit of a show at how ridiculous it seemed to him. I've got sand all over my room and only one nice shirt, and I go barefoot pretty much whenever I can. I'm gonna be so out of place. Yep, you'll definitely see my out of place there. Especially if you actually decide to show up barefoot. You nodded your head at Cove's feet covered in sand and he laughed lightly. Right? Wouldn't that be a sight? A small beeping noise came from Cove's pant pocket, and he pulled it out and glanced at the screen. Huh? It's the organizers. They sent a text to the group. Time to call it a day here. Alright, ready to head out to our next activity? Cove tucked his cell away eagerly, turning to you. Let's head over and drop the trash bags off at the trucks. Then we can drive back and join the ticket team. We've got to be there pretty soon to relieve them. With a stretch of the shore this long, the plan was to switch places with the other team who had been pushing the tickets for the fundraising dinner halfway through. It would be a full day of work, but it was Orca's largest event of the year, and all hands were on deck to make sure it was a success. Start pushing Cove on the back to move forward. Yeah. Or a high five. Let's push him. Time to go! He leaned his weight against your hands but walked forward. It must have been a funny sight with him plodding down the beach while practically falling over you and you keeping him up. You couldn't help bursting into laughter. That's so fucking cute. You collected the trash bags spread along the way together, heading across the beach to hoist them into the trucks before heading off to the next job. The drive back to your neighborhood and making your way to the shopping street was fairly quick, though Cove stressed a little about being late. Luckily, he was able to find a parking spot nice and close to where you needed to be. You jumped out of the car and quickly went towards where you knew the group would be. Finally reaching the stall that was set up to sell tickets, you stopped for a moment to catch your breath. That was quite the flurry of activity. It would be your job for the rest of the afternoon to help sell tickets for the fundraising dinner, and looking around the street, you saw that there were plenty of potential buyers out today. That would hopefully help to move the tickets along. The stall itself was simple. A portable table with a few plush sea animals. Oh, that's so cute! Can we get one? I want a dolphin! As decorations and a banner stuck across the front. There were 2 volunteers who were already packing up and getting ready to head off to the beach. They gave you both a friendly smile as you arrived. Hey, Cove, how'd things go at the beach?
Not bad.
It was good. The place is looking great. Were you lucky to get a 2-for-1 when it comes to you? We're lucky to get a 2-for-1 when it comes to you guys. Cove cleared his throat awkwardly and from beside you, and you notice his cheeks flushing pink. Aw. Here we go again. That's right, that's us. We're gonna join the joke. We're joined at the hip, some might say. The volunteer chuckled and packed up at the last other stuff, and Cove seemed to relax a little more. The volunteers made room for you and Cove behind the table while they circled around to the front of it. Thanks for coming for the shift. We better make this quick so we can head off to the next place. Yeah, fine. We're ready for whatever is needed. Once the volunteers handed you a clipboard with all the details needed to sell tickets, while the other tossed a set of keys to Cove, which he caught with ease. Which one was volunteer 1 again? Those are all for the money box and supply kit. Make sure to keep them on you at all times. Aside from handling the cash for the tickets, there's also the form on the clipboard for the guests to fill in their info. That way we know how many tickets we sold and who will be attending the event. There's a small script beneath that if you get stuck on what to say, and that's about it. Pretty simple, huh?
Uh-huh.
Excuse me? I think we've got this. Satisfied that you knew what you were doing, the volunteers said their goodbyes and started walking away, leaving you and Cove to manage the stall alone. I hope Cove knows what the fuck we're doing because I forgot already. The keys jingled in his hand and Cove waved them off before he stuffed them into the pocket of his pants for safekeeping. Bye, have fun! Once the volunteers were outside, Cove dropped down into a chair behind the counter with a sigh. We made it here just in time. It's cool we traded places with nothing happening. They might have been late getting to cleanup duty. He leaned back in his seat, getting fully comfortable in the space, and gave you a small smile. Took the other seat. It was just a simple plastic chair that squeaked when you sat on it, but it gave you a good view of the street. I'm glad this work lets us at least rest in one place. You returned a smile. It had been a bit of a mad rush to get here, but everything had turned out right in the end. Cove rummaged around the station a little, picking up a stuffed toy orca and holding it up in front of his face. Aww. You had to admit that it was pretty cute with his big bulging eyes and oversized flippers. That's cute. Setting it back down on top of the table, Cove moved to check out the rest of the stall, finding a cooler stashed beneath the table. When he pulled it out and opened the lid, you could see that it was filled with half-melted ice cubes and about half a dozen water bottles. Grabbing one of the plastic bottles, he unscrewed the cap and took a long drink. You watched the condensation running along the side and onto his fingers.
So?
Do you want one? Cove set his water on the side of the table before pulling out another, holding it out towards you. Oh, Blooper, hello! Hello, Blooper! Let's accept it. Thanks. How are you doing, Blooper? We got a new emote from Haru. Ah! Wait, what? Thank you so much, Blooper, for subscribing. Thank you. Bloopers. I thought Oh, I need to turn the stream on. How? Just resubscribe? What? Hold on. I need to fix something. Resubscribed. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. How? Just resubscribe? Why is it saying that? Is it just username? Sorry. Let's try that. Okay. Save those. And hopefully that works better next time. So cute, right? It is so cute. The head pat. The clown, yeah. Why did it say that? And I have the stream elements one also enabled. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess. After opening it up, you took a drink and left a satisfied sigh. You hadn't realized how thirsty you had been, and it was always good to stay hydrated. The two of you got settled in easily, and you took the chance to look over the paperwork on the clipboard. Cove joined you, leaning over your shoulder to get a better look. Seems like pretty standard stuff, he muttered, and you nodded quietly. Had general info about the event and the work you needed to do at the stall, as well as the amount of tickets sold thus far and the number remaining. Cove tapped a finger on the counter as he worked quietly over the notes, muttering a few things now and then that you didn't fully hear. He seemed content to be there, and you were sure that the afternoon would pass by quickly. When he glanced out towards the crowd and made a small sound, you followed his line of sight to see that the potential supporter was on their way over to the booth. Yeah, anxious. It was time to do customer service. It wasn't always easy for you to do things like this, especially when those things required talking to strangers, but you had to remind yourself that you were doing it for a reason. Taking in a deep breath, you made eye contact with the customer and gave them a small smile. Time passed as the two of you manned the stall, and as people approached, your sales pitch would either have them asking for a ticket or two, or heading off and mumbling maybe next time. All in all, you managed to sell a decent amount of tickets, and you could tell that Cove was happy with the outcome. As the afternoon drifted along, 6 p.m. arrived, time to pack everything up and head home for the evening. Your work with Orca was far from over, but right now there was only one thing left to focus on: attending the actual event. The days continued on in a normal flow, and before long the night of the Orca fundraising dinner was upon you. Already? Jesus. Our room is so cute. I like our seashell collection and our posters and our volleyball and our telescope. It was early evening and you were in our computer, of course. And it was early evening and you were in your room getting ready as the minutes ticked closer and closer towards the time you needed to leave. You wanted some privacy, so yeah, Liz was helping you pick an outfit. Yeah, Liz was helping you get ready while Cove was on speakerphone, yes. Aww, she's so beautiful. And she's so nice now. You were currently in the midst of picking an outfit, which Liz was helping you with while Cove gave his input from the phone. Of course, Cove couldn't see any of the items you and Liz were choosing between, but he was trying to help all the same. That's so cute. The event had strict guidelines, and you wouldn't be let in unless you were dressed to coat. That meant having to find a truly professional outfit, but one that you were also happy with. I guess practical about it. It was going to be quite a long evening, so you wanted to make sure you were dressed comfortably while still sticking to the letter of the code. Your nose wrinkled in thought as you rifled through the options, silently weighing the pros and cons of each.
That's fine.
You don't need to go get too in your head thinking about the look, but you do need to hurry up and pick something. Whatever you go with, it'll be great. You laughed a little, you shook your head. I never thought I'd see the day when Cole Holden would encourage me to wear something formal. Quiet chuckle came from your phone and you smiled at the sound. Yeah, this is really a once-in-a-lifetime event. Taking a deep breath to refocus yourself, you looked over the options one last time. It was time to decide on an outfit, and quick. Blouse and pants. No, it chose a dress, blouse and skirt. What do we have? We have like skirt, short. We have like a dress with shorts. So I guess a dress? I guess a dress? Liz nodded in approval, clapping her hands together, satisfied.
Good.
Finally, we're making some progress. That sounds like it'd be totally fine. I'm wearing just a shirt with buttons and sock, personally. Oh! Exco, thank you so much! Oh my gosh, I thought the rating thing was, the whale was part of it. In the background. Thank you so much! Thank you so much for rating. How was your stream? Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Ara. And I'm a magician, and this cat right here is Trixie, and right now on my head we have Simpy the Shrimpy for this game. What? Oh, wait, and... Oh my gosh. Oh no, what happened to the emotes? Hello, Aura. Hello, Exco. Oh no, what happened to the emotes? What the heck? Thank you for the shout out, Star. Don't worry about it. How was your stream? Sim Shrimp, yeah, Sim Shrimp. That's Sim Shrimp. But yeah, welcome. I hope you enjoy the show. Zelda is fun. Ooh, I've never played a Zelda game. It's a scuff. I know. Hold on, do my emotes work? Let me just see. Yeah, my emotes work. Why don't your guys's? And yeah, they work. So why wasn't yours working, Blooper? Have you updated Twitch? But yes, we got a new emote from Haru. But yes, thank you so much for the raid. We broken. Oh, Sean XYZ, hello! Thank you for being here. Thank you. Oh, that's such a cute emote. Hopefully Hopefully the ads are better now. I'm so sorry for the last time. I learned a little bit about ads, but I don't know. As cute as our streamer. Oh no, I'm not cute. Trixie's cute. I'm not. There's an update. I don't know, honestly. I had to update mine on my mobile anyway. Alright, I'm gonna go rest. It is quite late. Okay, have a good rest. Thank you so much for the raid. She just resubscribed and had to refresh. Oh, okay. Have a great rest of the stream. Thank you so much, Exco. I really appreciate it. My back is killing me. Oh no. I hope you feel better. But yes, we're playing a visual novel called Our Life Beginnings and Always. I always fuck up the name, even though we're 23 hours into the game, apparently. Thank you for a raid. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, thank you, Blooper. It still has the wrong code, the wrong emo code, because it changed because I changed my name. Maybe like refresh, Blooper. But yes, we're going to a charity event with Cove up here, the one in the top right, and this is our sister, Lizzie. It's still not working. Oh no. Only head pat works. Blooper is stuck with head pats. There it goes. Oh, okay. It's working now? Oh, okay, good. Okay, good. Good, it's working. Blooper, you were scuffed too. But yes, this is our sister and that's Cove, who we're gonna romance, probably, unless there's someone else that's come into the picture in this part of the story who caught my interest, but I think we're gonna go with Cove for now. Because as a first route. Shh. Okay, Blooper, I won't say anything. I'm just wearing a shirt with buttons and slack personally. Standing in front of your mirror, you quietly assessed your outfit. Accessory or two. Need a little extra something to finish it all off. Rummaging through the rest of your wardrobe, you picked out what you thought you needed to complete your outfit. Can we pick an anklet? Because that's what, oh, I had an anklet. Oh, okay, I'm gonna pick an anklet just in case we can... just in case we only have one, because Cove likes anklets. You have to quickly remove your shoes to slip on the anklet before stepping back into them again. Oh, okay, we can do more. A button vest, yes! A belt, a ring, a pair of earrings, a hat. It took a minute or two to rummage through your wardrobe to find it, but it gave your outfit an extra special touch. A button vest. It was a formal event after all, and you didn't think of a better time to wear it. So it looks more like my dress. And do we have a ring? No, we don't have rings. I wish it was like do we have a bracelet? No. Do we have a necklace? No, we have a bow tie. We have a bow tie, not a tie. We have a belt actually, a belt. Yeah, we have a belt. And that was everything. And with that, yeah. Should we ask Liz to apply our makeup or should we do it on ourselves? Let's ask Liz. Let's bond. Leaning up in front of the mirror again, you spoke over your shoulder. Do you think you can help me with some makeup for tonight? Absolutely, I'll show you everything I know. You're welcome for that. Thank you. With that, Liz really got into gear. She worked deftly to apply all the details without holding up too long, all while keeping you informed on what was happening to your face. Finally, you were dressed and it all come together. I forgot, we have blue hair, so you better have matched to my blue hair. We have blue hair in the game right now. Not my model. My model has like purple blackish hair. Okay, just gotta change my shirt, then I'll be at the car. See you in a minute. When you looked at Liz again, she had a goofy smile pulling at her lips. You look very nice, Sarah. Now you're talking like our moms. I do look good, don't I? You twisted around your outfit excitedly. Yeah, let's excitedly twist around. Knowing that you made the right decision with everything had you feeling more confident. Liz wiped the pretending tear away with her fingers, sniffling dramatically. Aww. Oh, precious Ara, you're really all grown up. It happened in the blink of an eye when I wasn't even looking. She chuckled to herself, nudging you towards the door. All right, time to get downstairs. Your special boy awaits. Oh my gosh. You carefully headed down the stairs and into the living room where your moms were waiting for your appearance. Aww. As you entered, they both stood from the couch and came over to you, smiling broadly. You look so wonderful, Ara. Nice. And very mature, too. That smug look. I know, right? They continued to coo and fuss over you until you managed to brush them off. Ma took Mom by the arm and held her close, the two of them admiring you proudly. I already got this from Liz, you sighed dramatically. Thank you, you enjoyed the attention. You wondered why they were making such a big deal, I guess. Because it is strange. Liz came over to you and smirked as she was reading your very thoughts in your head. You'll have to get used to it one day, Ara. You're the baby of the family after all. Mom came in to give you one last hug. Before you knew it, another pair of arms wrapped around you, and then a third. Both Mom and Liz giggled as they hugged you tight. Oh, this is so fucking cute. We hope you have so much fun tonight. Have fun. We won't wait up for you. Stay as long as you need. You're old enough now. With that last wave goodbye, you left your family and approached the front door. It was time. Stepping outside into the night, you closed the door behind you gently and looked across the street. Aww. Cove was standing there in the street. His eyes met yours immediately, as if he had been watching your house from the moment you would come out. He smiled bashfully. Aww, he looks nice. The shirt reminds me of a turtle. Hey, Ara. Hey, I hope you're ready to do this. He took the chance to check over his outfit as he walked along the way to meet you. It was formal for sure, though it didn't feel overly posh. His shirt is very loud. It looks like a turtle. It's perfect. It made sense for him, and it was honestly a sight for sore eyes. He was always beautiful to you. Aww. Also, I know what you're referencing, Blooper, and I'm trying not to laugh. Trying not to laugh. But I need to Blooper, no, you're gonna make me go into a laughing fit. He looked over you as well, a subtle blush creeping over his face as he quickly cleared his throat and averted his gaze. He seemed to be struggling to find something to say, rubbing at the exposed part of his arm awkwardly. Aw, he's so awkward. It's so fucking cute. Thank you for coming with me and for dressing really nicely for this. Your outfit, it's good. Better than good, really. Great, I guess. Something else? So yeah. His gaze traveled downward to take in your full form, and suddenly he froze, his eyes widening on what you were sure was the tasteful anklet peeking out from above your shoes. Cove turned his very red face away from you, and you peered at him adoringly as he mumbled to himself. This is so cute! Oh my god. As you imagined, the tricks accessory had him fully flustered. You knew how he felt about them, and he knew that you knew how he felt about them. The purposefulness of teasing him this way likely had an even bigger impact than even seeing you in the anklet. Tasteful. Yeah, that's true. It did say tasteful, didn't it? You started to wonder if it was a good idea after all. Cove acting like that was killing you, and you hadn't even started the trip to dinner yet. Oh, the Luffy emote, that's cute. It took a great amount of effort to focus your thoughts and react to his overall assessment to your look. Oh my gosh, we could just be very flirtatious. Your look is very nice too. You felt shy over it, thank you. Either shy or we're gonna be flirtatious. What do you think? I know what Blooper is gonna say, but I don't know what other people would think. He's our crush right now in this stage. Our character be like oh my gosh, Blooper. Flirty birdie. Be flirty, okay. Damn, Cove, you're so hot right now, he said flirtatiously. Look at his face! Cove hung his bright red face in embarrassment after that. He wrapped his arms around his torso bashfully as if trying to protect himself and the outfit from further teasing. Oh, he's so cute. Come on, Ara. That sounded so sarcastic. Well, to be fair, I wasn't trying to read it flirty because I have a big ass smile on my face, so I don't know if I can do flirty. Because this is just so cute. You laughed at the reaction. Then he shook his head, glanced back towards the garage, and throwing a thumb over his shoulder, spoke. Come on. We should probably get going. Wouldn't want to be late to such a grown-up event, right? Yeah, let's go. You headed over to Cove's car together, hopping in and strapping on your seatbelts. You were on your way. This is so beautiful. The event was being held at a place you'd never been to before. You brought up the location on your phone to help Cove navigate there. It took some time to find the right address, and once there, you were met with the task of finding a parking spot. Though you were on time, it seemed like everyone else had already showed up and claimed the spaces. Eventually, you found a suitable place before realizing that it required payment. Cove covered the amount, taking a ticket from the machine and leaving it on the dashboard of the car. Ooh, fancy! This is so fancy. What the hell? Despite the small holdup, I guess they did say it would be fancy, so I don't know why I'm surprised. Despite the small holdup, you managed to ultimately make it to the event and confirm you were on the guest list before being shown into the dining area. Oh, his shirt is black! I thought it was blue because it was dark. Cove whistled low as he looked around, taking in the extravagance of the room. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling and the entire place was decked out with beautiful oceanic displays. You were stunned yourself. It was extremely high class, even more so than you had already expected. This is probably the best looking event we've been to. Your lips parted into a wondrous smile as you took in the decorations and the guests all dressed up to the nines. Cove met your eyes with a similar look on his face. You got the impression that he felt the same way about it. Doesn't he look like a little chipmunk with his teeth right here? I've been wanting to say that, but he looks like a cute little chipmunk. It's so adorable. The sound of your names being called out echoed over the din in the room. When you looked around, you recognized a couple of the organization leaders looking your way. They approached you both in greeting, giving you a welcoming smile and a hello. Leader 1. Cove, alright, we're glad to see you can make it, especially after all the hard work you've done to help make this night happen.
Of course.
Definitely, I wasn't gonna miss this. I guess we're thrilled to have made it. The place looks amazing. It looks nice. It's so nice to do something like this. Well, thank you for being a part of the team. You're always welcome to help us out with activities whenever they come up. Thank you. Cove shrugged, then eyes darting around the place with an awkward look.
So...
I guess we should talk to more people. There isn't much else to do at an event like this. You found your way into groups of people who were standing around chatting while some light music played in the background. Are we gonna dance? Can we dance together again? That was so cute. Servers with large silver trays were gliding between the guests, offering drinks and... What? Not canopies. Canapes? Cove was clearly hesitant to actually approach the people, but was able to respond when various people greeted him first. You were enjoying talking to so many different people, both guests and members of the organization alike, and found yourself enjoying the company. The sound of a microphone crackling came from the podium at the other end of the room. Someone who you assume must be the host for the evening was speaking everyone to sit down in preparation for the meal and speeches. You and Cove looked for your table, finding it easy enough by the little name cards that were placed delicately beside the napkins. A few others joined you at the table, though they weren't anyone that you recognized. The host was still speaking as people were settling, starting off speeches by giving a welcome to everyone attending. She went on to provide some more information about Orca, which you suppose was for the guests who weren't a part of the organization, and the purpose of the fundraiser tonight. Orca's goals, as she explained it, were to aid in the conservation and restoration of oceans and beaches. There were many people who had helped to make the group as successful as it was. When she read off the list of several volunteers who worked on making the event happen, Cove's name was one of the first to come up. His cheeks flushed with a shy pride at that. Aww. Your name came up a little further down the list. You were smiling from ear to ear at the mention. As she continued on to thank the large donors for the event, you checked over at Cove. He was still grinning happily to himself and tapping his fingers over the top of his knees, pretty pleased to have been mentioned by name. Yeah, let's laugh quietly as a reaction. It was good to see all his hard work paying off, but his giddiness was also funny. While the host continued speaking, multiple servers dressed in black were setting the first course of the menu in front of guests. One of the servers set down a plate in front of you, and you thanked them quietly before looking over the dish with interest. You recognized the dish as a simple Caesar salad. Blech! The host quickly wrapped up the end of her speech, thanking everyone once more before inviting you all to begin your meal. I changed my mind. This event is shit. Ew. Gross. Anyone who included a special dietary note when signing up for the event received the vegan or vegetarian version. And there were also small baskets of bread set around the table. Give me the bread. Just give me the basket of bread. That's all I need. Yeah, there we go. You just ate some of the bread. This is so inclusive. What the hell? I was making a joke. Cove wolfed down his salad before munching into a breadstick, quickly devouring that as well. I hope the next part comes out soon and is bigger. You could hear him mumbling to himself as he reached over for another piece of bread. He glanced around the table and you followed his line of sight with curiosity, knowing that everyone else was still eating the salad. Stopping his head in midair, he quickly pulled back and rested it on his lap without taking another breadstick after all. It was clear that he was starting to feel unsure of himself, and he looked a little out of place here. He folded his arms and turned away from them to you. You didn't like the salad? Yeah, I don't really like Caesar salad. I don't like salad, unless it's fruit salad. I get it. His gaze remained purposely tunneled on you as if he was trying not to even think about what the rest of the table might be doing. Oh, I thought this said you discreetly flipped the other guests. Oh, it does! Oh my gosh! It does say that! Oh my gosh, you discreetly flipped the other guests off? Oh my gosh! You picked up a breadstick and gave it to Cove. You made silly faces at the other guests while they weren't looking. You gave Cove a pat on the head. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, the cute one, the funny one, or the funny ones? The cute one or the funny ones? Oh, this is so difficult. Save. Save. Be cute. Okay. Gave Code a pat on the hand. Breadstick, breadstick. Oh, you're too late, Blooper. His lips tilted up at the corners and he seemed touched by the reassurance. It wasn't much longer until the main course was arriving and the various chicken, steak, and veggie dishes were being served throughout the room. An array of scents wafted through the room, making your mouth water. Flip people off with the breadstick! Oh my gosh, that'd be so funny. Steak. It was nice that you had been given the opportunity at how you liked your steak cooked, and the meal on the plate in front of you seemed perfectly to your taste. Cove had gone for the steak, and once he started to dig in, he was completely absorbed by his meal. Yeah, let's flick something at him. You centered a pea. Ew! Yeah, yeah. Flip the pea. Flick the peas. I hate peas. You centered a pea in a clear spot on your plate, taking the time to get the angle right. He wasn't going to notice what you were doing as long as he had food in front of him. Oh, that's cute. When it was perfect, he struck the tiny thing and it hit him directly in the side of his cheek. He bolted upright in shock, almost choking on his mouth full of food. Oh no! The look he gave you was far from impressed, but his eyes still held a glint of amusement. You threw your gaze away from it innocently, as though you had done nothing at all. When you peeked to see if you had gotten off scot-free, he rolled his eyes and returned to his meal. You chuckled lightly beneath your breath, and he did the same, thoroughly entertained. That's so cute. Dinner eventually ended with the last of all was dessert. A lemon sorbet that had been partially dyed blue. Ooh! The mix of white with bold streaks of blue made the little scoop look like a ball of roaring ocean waves. The effect was very pretty, but the serving size was small. Perhaps it was the price to pay for artistry. You turned to Cove to find him pouting a little at the size of it. Aww. Digging into the dessert, it took him only a few bites to polish it off. Again, the other people around the table had barely even begun eating. An unimpressed air settled over him as he sat back in his chair, sipping at his water unhappily. We could get more dessert later. You gave him an encouraging smile. He looked up at you sheepishly, embarrassed to have been caught sulking over such a thing. He fumbled for a defense. It was just really good, that's all. Now it's gone, but I'm okay. With a slight grin, he shrugged to show that he was really fine. Would you like a bite of mine, or do you want my dessert? Do you want my dessert? You pushed the dish towards him, and his eyes widened in surprise. He looked down at the dessert and then back at you as if wordly asking if you were really sure. It's okay, you can have it. He hesitated a moment more before pulling the sorbet in front of him, a small smile tugging at his lips. Oh, this is so cute!
Thanks.
Thanks, Zara. You're welcome. He scooped a spoonful of the treat and put it in his mouth, humming happily. You felt satisfied knowing he enjoyed it much more than you would. You leaned back in your chair, looking around quietly. After a moment or two, you felt Cove giving you a sidelong glance. He then took another spoonful of the Fox Ocean and held it for you. Your stomach began to flutter, and not from the prospect of sorbet. Aww. We ate it! He's feeding us! Oh my gosh, that's so cute! Leaning forward, you ate the dessert from off his spoon, enjoying the bright citrusy taste on your tongue. It's good. Yeah. You thought back on the way he used to be so terrified of sharing food with you, and now he hardly batted an eye. It was always amazing when you were struck with how he'd grown and how he stayed the same. Another person from Orca got up on stage to make a speech as everyone was nearing the end of the mirror. They spoke mostly about the individual projects that the organization was working on and their plans for the near future, as well as encouraging anyone who was interested to consider volunteering. BRB, okay, Blooper. Cove bent forward over the table with his chin balanced on a hand, listening attentively to the words. As they came to the conclusion and everyone gave them a round of applause, Cove caught your eye and smiled. You wonder what would happen now. And then the lights dimmed. A couple of spotlights came on, projecting a water light effect around the room. Oh, they're so pretty. And the guests gushed over the ambience, and you looked around with wide eyes at the ripples on the wall. The DJ that had been previously been playing soft mood music in the background announced that the floor was open for dancing, slowly turning the volume up so it drifted through the space. When you glanced at Cove, his eyebrows had shot up and he mumbled quietly.
Huh.
Oh, the effect is even on his shirt. That's so cool. I didn't know there would be dancing. I guess it makes sense now that I think about it. He gave an awkward laugh as you both watched the people rose up from their seats. It was clear now that many of the donors were couples. A small crowd has started to form on the dance floor, and the DJ played a romantic song to get everyone started off. Cove let his gaze float over the small sea of guests, and he seemed lost in thought. A serious expression had settled on his face, making his eyebrows dip. Slowly he turned to you, though there was something cautious in his approach. Oh, he's asking us to dance. That's so fucking cute. Oh my gosh, I've said that too much this stream. Oh. Would you want to dance with me? I was gonna ask you the same thing. He let out a stuttering laugh, relieved. Oh, that's good. He nodded firmly as he rose from his seat, though you noticed his hand shaking at his sides. It's fine. Fun how much you enjoy the cuteness. Thank you, Haru. You walked out onto the floor together, hesitating a little when you turned and stood face to face. Cove had a hard time meeting your eyes, but he lifted a hand for you to take, unsure of what else he was meant to do. Let's see if he's a better dancer after how many years has it been since the last one? We're 18, so it's been 5 years since the last event. Or the last summer? You accepted his hand easily and gave him an encouraging smile. It took some doing, but amidst your nervous laughter, you managed to find a comfortable enough position that set a rhythm to the music. It was quite nice after that. Every time your eyes met Cove's, he would look away quickly, but he seemed to be enjoying the dance nonetheless. Eventually, you felt comfortable enough to speak. A lot has happened, huh? You nodded faintly. You weren't sure if he meant just today, this summer, or your entire time knowing each other. But it didn't really matter. It was true either way. Thinking back on the years that you and Cove had been neighbors, it was difficult to even try to reflect on it all at once.
I'm so glad.
Aww. I'm glad we ended up here. He gave you a soft look and you beamed, knowing that that could also mean many things, but from his tone you were certain he didn't only mean here at this event. It was more than that. I think we'll have to tell your dad things. There's nowhere else I'd rather be, so am I. You chuckled happily at the two of you and the long adventure you've been on. Let's see. I think we have to tell your dad things. Probably. The party eventually started to wind down, and at last it came to an end. When the main lights turned on, you blinked against the brightness of them, making sure you saw Cove in your sights. One final speaker came up to the podium on the stage, thanking all the guests for coming and wishing everyone a good night. It was bittersweet to see it come to a close. Your time with Cove here was precious. At least the memories could be brought with you. Giving space one more look, you walked together with Cove out to the parking lot. The other guests were doing the same, so you got stuck in a bit of a crowd. Though Cove was so tall you could always see him, and it was easy enough not to get separated. The parking lot itself was quite big and even more noticeable now with fewer cars blocking the view. It took a little while to actually locate Cove's car across the expanse. Eventually you found it and the two of you bundled inside the vehicle and buckled up. The trip home was quiet as you both silently reflected back on the experience. The event had just been the biggest night of the year for Orca, and now it was all over just like that. Outside your window, the surroundings soon became familiar, and you found yourself back in your neighborhood. Cove pulled the car into his driveway and put it into park before letting out a relief breath. Home sweet home. Yeah. After climbing out of the car, you walked slowly down the road, Cove coming over to stand beside you. You stopped in the middle of the street right between your house and his and turned to him, finding him in the process of opening his mouth to speak. Strangely, he clamped his lips together as though he had suddenly thought better of it. Thank you for taking me tonight. Thanks for coming with me. Let's ruffle his hair. He wrinkled his nose a little, giving you a small smile.
Night.
Night, Ara. With a last wispy smile, he left towards his front door. Figuring you shouldn't linger in the street much longer, you crossed the remainder of the road and did the same. When you reached your house, you pulled your keys out and stuck them in the door, trying your best to be silent about it. How much you want to bet everyone's gonna be awake? Opening the door crack, you turned back and looked at Cove from over your shoulder. His eyebrows lifted in surprise to see he was doing the same, holding his front door open but waiting for you to go inside before he did. You shared an amused smile before you both stepped into your own houses, locking the door behind you. It was late, so everyone else was already asleep. Darn it, I thought everyone was gonna be like, how'd it go? As quiet as a mouse, you tiptoed up to your bedroom and changed out of your formal clothes into your pajamas. Now that you were finally home, you were exhausted. You brushed your teeth and got ready for bed in darkness, before crawling under the covers and letting out a heavy breath. It was still strange to think about how that was it. The build-up to the event had felt like so much, now it was completely behind you. Your mind was busy with rapid yet muddled thoughts as you faded closer and closer to sleep. As unconsciousness creeped up on you, you felt more content. It was a big deal, but there would be more in the future. And you could accept what it had been, and you could also dream about what you'd get to experience next. I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! And then you were taken away from your dreams right back into reality by a sound. Your eyebrows pinched together, fully unprepared to be part of the waking world again. The day was over and had been an eventful one, but you heard another noise. It was tapping. Your eyes flew open. The window. There was tapping that came from your window. Aw, he's back. Cove Holden. You rushed over to him. You tumbled out of bed, taking your blanket with you. You left it on the floor when you scampered over to the window. You saw through the glass that Cove's eyebrows were raised, and you suddenly realized that in your rush, you hadn't taken care to be quiet. He probably had heard you crash to the floor. But that wasn't the matter at hand. You flung open your window and faced him completely, with nothing separating the two of you any longer. You had not been surprised to find Cove awkwardly crouched on your window ledge. However, you were taken back to see that he was a little overdressed. Cove hadn't changed out of his formal clothes. You also noticed that he was perched clumsily. You didn't know if it was because he was trying to keep his fancy clothes clean or if he felt weird about something. His body was too stiff and awkward. Cove smiled sheepishly. Hi, Ara. It's nice to see you too, Romeo. Nice to see you too, Romeo. You moved aside to let him climb inside. He cautiously stepped down by stretching his legs over. Strangely, he didn't use his hands for support. It was clear to you now he was holding something. When he was safely back on his feet, he briefly checked out his clothes, twisting around to the back of his pants. He caught you looking and shrugged. I did go home after the event, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to settle down, so I just walked back out. I needed fresh air and time away from everything. He paused for a moment and raised his clasped hands together where you could see them. But then something happened, and well, so I have something I want to show you. Cove grinned like a child and gently unfurled his finger, not being able to keep you in suspense for even a minute. Oh, Firefly! The poor Firefly, but that's so cute. Carefully sitting inside with a tiny yellow light. It blinked off and then on again, a Firefly. Delicately, he moved his hand closer so you could see the creature better. They're back. Aw, he closed his eyes, his smile faintly illuminated by the insect companion. Remember the first time I caught one? I always will. I could barely manage anything because of that neon pink cast I was stuck with all summer. You were still stunned by what was happening, but couldn't help snickering when Cove did. It was thanks to you that I finally held a Firefly in my own hand. I was happy to. Honestly, I didn't think I'd see them this year. I don't know why, it's just they were kind of late, and I guess I've been worrying about a lot of stuff lately. You could tell that the Firefly genuinely lifted his spirits. He seemed at peace and wanted to share that with you. The fact that his first thought after discovering the Fireflies was to come over and celebrate the joy with you made you suddenly feel very cherished. Cove opened his eyes, but he looked away, not meeting yours.
It's nice.
It's really nice, I think. Even if the Fireflies disappeared for a while, it doesn't mean they're really gone. They'll come back. I can see them again. Yeah, you waited for him to continue. Cove looked at your face, a smile now fragile. Makes me think about the two of us. We're together, then we say goodbye, and then we're together again. Day after day, year after year, and even if our time apart gets longer, that doesn't make it forever. Aww. I'll always be there, whenever you want to see me. Oh, feel like these save. Yeah, the art's so good. Welcome back, Blooper. You wanted to be with him, there was nothing else you wanted then, and he needed to know. You quietly said his name. Let's quietly say his name. Cove. You're a crazy person, you're the best. Thank you. I'll always be there for you too. Let's say... Let's tear up. Your eyes suddenly watered, and you tried to contain your wave of emotion. Cove chuckled suddenly shy, then he put an arm around your neck and relaxed into a half hug. The firefly suddenly flew off, blinking once and then twice as it looked for another perch. It went dark and then you saw it reappear outside your still open window. Cove didn't seem to mind. Cove looked at you, affection plain in his face. Aww. Yeah, it is so cute, Blooper. Hey, do you want to go out to the hill? The fireflies are still there. Let's go. Cove brightened. He was practically bouncing at the thought of a secret excursion before he suddenly became bashful. So how should we leave? We could just try the door. We don't have to do the window thing, but maybe that bother your family? You both chuckled how awkward it would be if your moms or worse Liz saw you going out on a midnight firefly catching trip. You'd be sure to avoid that. Leave from the window. Let's go through the window. Cove nodded in understanding. You grabbed some shoes and readied yourself for an adventure. You were glad that there was no way you'd run into another soul outside. Cove would be way overdressed and you were still in your jammies. Aw. You let Cove go first. He stepped back onto the ledge as you carefully followed. You shuffled along and soon you reached the garage. You planned to use the fence from there to reach the ground. Cove jumped to the garage, then the fence, and lowered himself down. It was easy for him. He leaned against the fence and projected hushed words up to you where you were waiting.
Are you okay?
Do you want help? Yes. You got to the edge and let Cove spot your descent. He grabbed you about halfway down and brought you to rest firmly on the ground. Cove gave you an encouraging smile, but neither of you risked speaking yet. You briskly snuck behind the house and up to the old white poppy hill. And Cove was right. The entire hill was lit up, insects twinkling here and there with their pale yellow light. Cove let out a content sigh, finally being able to relax in full. He strode further up the hill to better enjoy the view. You walked along as well, letting yourself be surrounded by the twinkling display. Then, without warning, Cove plopped onto his back. He paid no mind to smacking his formal attire in the grass. He put an arm under his head and stretched the rest of his limbs out. He was clearly getting quite comfortable in the dirt there. Yeah, we'll lay down in the grass. You sat down first and fell back. You could see the stars when you looked up at the night sky. I wonder if Dad will be mad about the grass stains. He tugged at the collar of his shirt. He didn't sound concerned, just idly curious. Maybe you should figure out how to clean it before he finds out. His smile bent a little, and it went silent between you. The only sounds were the rustling of bugs and the breeze, and the faraway crashes of waves on the sea. Oh, we can dance! Rolling waves down the hill, catch fireflies. Oh my gosh, a rolling race down the hill or dancing? I think a rolling race down the hill is so funny and so cute. We already danced, right? I mean, we just danced, so. Huh. And it'd be the reminiscent of our childhood when we did the rolling race. Or I don't know if we participated in that, but there was one. Yeah, let's do that. For a race, we could see who could roll down the hill faster. Cove chuckled and crossed his knees casually. How could we even tell who won? We'd both be rolling. Or we could chat it, or maybe we could just do a quick check for the other as soon as we reach the bottom. He tilted his head towards you and uncrossed his legs. Well, I am already in position. Let's do it. With a smile, you wonder if he had a disadvantage in his formal wear. Then again, it wasn't like pajamas were made for rolling either. And even though you were already on the ground, you twisted the way you were settled to be more prepared. Then you stared each other down. It was almost time. This was serious business.
Right.
You know the rules on the count of 3. Nodding, you tucked your limbs in tight and prepared yourself. 1, 2, 3. Go! You hurled your body sideways and you could only imagine Cove was doing the same. You were rolling, and then the hill was suddenly over. It felt like a much shorter trip than it used to. You stuck your dizzy head in the air and locked eyes with Cove. He was down there already as well. Both of you were breathing heavily with a satisfied expression creeping onto your faces. Did you see who won? I didn't. You won. Did you see who won? I didn't. Cove looked amused and unsuccessfully hit a laugh behind the hand. No, that was a tie. Cove dropped back to his side and rolled the rest of the way over to you. You couldn't stop yourself from laughing and laid down next to him when he arrived. The hour grew late and the fireflies mostly dispersed until only a few stragglers remained. Then even they blinked out of sight, leaving you alone with Cove and your thoughts. It felt as though this was a night that would never end, but you knew it would have to, all too soon. You're only grateful to have been a part of it. These were the moments to treasure, and you already knew you'd be remembering them for a long time. Aw, that's so cute! Aw, okay, and we're going on a drive. Reflection late your serendipity. I'm excited for these ones. Drive. Like a lazy cat. Okay. Ah! Sorry, I'm fixing my headphone. Like a lazy cat, you stretch your arms above your head and yawn, blinking your eyes sleepily. Excuse me? The day was warm and pleasant, and you were lounging on the couch in the living room, finding it difficult to do much in that moment. Your moms and Liz had gone out shopping, looking for some new items for your sister to take back and decorate her college dorm with. They had asked if you wanted to go with them, but you declined. For you, today was all about relaxation. Cove had dropped by to spend some time with you, content to join in with doing nothing. Two of you had been chatting idly as you lazed around, talking about the other things you had planned for the summer. You were sitting next to him. He sat on the couch while you sat on your own. He sat on the couch while you were fully stretched out on the other. You were stretched out across him as he sat on the couch, yes. You had your feet propped up on one of the armrests and used Cove as a comfy cushion between your head, totally settled in. Cove was tense, his legs almost as stiff as 2 logs. That made things not as comfortable as you hoped for. The day dragged on and you found yourself yawning more and more often between conversations. You had almost dozed off completely when suddenly a buzz rang out, disturbing the silence. Your phone was on its charger in the kitchen, so it couldn't have been that. Cove pulled out his own from his back pocket and checked the screen. His movement had jostled you, so you tried to readjust your position to get it right again. Oh. It's my mom. Cove waved his thumb in the air, giving you a small smile. I'm gonna take this. I'll be right back. He carefully nudged you to move. You held on to him to keep him there. He chuckled, a soft blush spreading across his cheeks. Aww. You're gonna make me miss the call. Can I have my arm back? Why don't you use the other couch to stretch out? You rolled his eyes at him, giving a small smile. Really, I want to just talk to her myself. It's easier for me. He poked you again, and finally with a groan, you relented and let him go. He got to his feet and stretched out, answering the call and holding the phone to his ear as he headed off. Hey, Mom, what's up? Tell her I said hi. He turned to give you a nod, smiling as he walked backwards towards the door. The lock clicked behind him as he exited the house, and you sank back onto the cushion, idly trying to decide what to do next. After electing to grab your own phone from its charger, you resumed your position on the couch, tapping away at the screen. Your mind drifted away from the thoughts of Cove and his phone call with all the many ways your device could distract you. It was an effective enough way to kill time, and you hadn't managed to do various little things when the door opened again and Cove returned.
Hey.
I'm back. Watch as Cove strolled over to where you were still sitting. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, just... He sighed dramatically and let his forehead fall against the couch back. I know I just came back from visiting my mom, but... Well, last time I flew there, every time I just fly there and back, so there's a lot of stuff I've left over there, because I couldn't take it all with me on the plane. Now that I'm not going to be visiting her like I used to, I'll have to go get it at some point. He gave you a look that you thought seemed almost guilty. Some of it's pretty big, so it's not really practical to have it shipped. I can drive over and pick it up. When will you go? That's what my mom wanted to know. She thought it'd be best to do it soon before things get even busier. He paused and let out a soft sigh, his shoulders dropping, as if he really didn't want to be the one to have to tell you that. I think that's probably the idea that makes the most sense, too. It'd be good to get it over and done with. I'll be setting out as soon as I can. Oh, another trip already, then. He sighed and dropped his head again. You could tell he wasn't any happier about having to go than you were about seeing him leave. You didn't know what to say. Looking up again, you met his bright aquamarine eyes, finding a sad smile tugging on his lip. Oh. Suddenly his eyebrows jumped and his eyes lit up like a lamp. You could come with me. What? You could come. My visits to my mom are usually special, so she and I could spend some time together, but this time it's not like that. It's an errand. My plan is to drive out one morning, spend the night, then we can pack up the car the next morning and turn right back around. It'll only take 2 days for the whole thing. You thought to yourself for a moment, amused by Cove's excitement. Are you sure it'd be okay if I go? Yeah, why not? I could probably use the company. It's a pretty long drive for one person. Sprinkling of color spread over his cheeks as he admitted quietly. And I just really like to have you around. Plus you have a chance to see my mom in person. I know she'd be happy to see you again. You shrugged casually, smiling as you officially let Cove talk you into it. Let's do it. A road trip with the two of us would be fun. I'll have to let my moms know, but as long as we got nothing else important on the days we picked, there's no reason I wouldn't be able to go. Aw, road trip, road trip! Cove's face brightened, and you were sure the prospect of having a travel buddy made the task seem less tiresome. I'll call my mom back and tell her. We could pick a time right now. You spent some time together going over your schedules and making plans for when you could take the trip. Oh, those emotes are so cute. The Shinx rave emotes, so cute. You needed to fit it around Cove's work schedule, which he brought up on his phone to double check. Luckily, it was only a 2-day trip, so finding a couple free days in a row wasn't impossible. It wasn't long before the dates were finally sent and all the plans were made. Excited! A short trip sounded like the perfect way to spend some time. You could listen to music, eat snack, and enjoy the open road. More rave emotes! Yes, everyone get excited for the road trip! No matter what you thought about things, the morning when you were due to leave arrived. It was cooler than usual, the sun barely peeking over the tops of the houses. You stood outside your house on the footpath near the road, waiting for Cove. You were feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep and an early wake-up. With your travel bag clutched in one hand, you watched as Cove finish packing up his car. He had organized all sorts of things, water bottles, snacks, and who knows what else. Cove insisted he had everything under control and didn't need help. At least you could rest easy knowing that it was all taken care of. Oh, the SVD ones, that's so cute. As you waited, you glanced over Cove's car. You knew it well. It used to belong to Mr. Holden, and when Cove had learned to drive, it passed to him. His dad had taken the opportunity to get a newer one. It was pretty old at this point, but it served both of them well so far. You just hope it had enough life left in it to survive a trip as long as the one you were embarking on. The slam on the door closing made you jump. You snapped back to focus and saw Cove walking towards you. He dusted off his pants and tilted his head towards the car. That's it, ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready. He smiled and stepped outside, giving you space to situate your own bag where you wanted it. Once everything was safely inside, he glanced back at you.
All right.
We should get started. It's going to be a ways to go. Hug or woo? Aww. Those emotes are so cute too, Haru. Woo or hug? Woo or hug? Woo or hug? Let's hug. He seemed surprised but chuckled and returned the gesture. It couldn't last long though, time was of the essence. The two of you climbed into the car and buckled up, Cove in the driver's seat and you sitting shotgun. His eyes moved to you.
Thank you.
Thanks again for coming on this trip with me. Of course, it's no problem. After checking the mirrors and starting the engine, you pulled out of the driveway and the trip began. With a small sigh, you got cozy in your seat and watched the familiar houses in your neighborhood pass by. Cove reached over to turn on the radio. A crackle of static mixed with the odd snippets of songs filled the car as he flipped to the stations. Mr. Holden's car was in good condition, but it was well older. There was no way to plug in a phone to play music, so the radio had to do. Eventually, he settled on classic rock station before sitting back and resting both hands on the wheel. Good choice? Is this okay? Yes, you know what I like. How could I forget? He smiled happy with the answer. Time flew by, and with the scenery outside your window become more and more unfamiliar. It was a little fluttery being alone in the car with Cove for so long. There was nowhere else you would have rather been. Every now and then you'd look over and sneak a glance at him, wondering what he was thinking about. Eventually, Cove broke the silence, clearing his throat softly before he spoke. It's been too long since you and I spent time with my mom. I know she still comes to the neighborhood sometimes, but it's not even once a year. I'm always going to hers. I'm happy the two of us are doing this. Yeah, me too. But speaking of your mom and trips, remember the time she took us on that crazy drive all across town? I can't wait to see what Kyra looks like. He shook his head at the memory, his laughter clear and bright. Oh, I remember. I kept worrying about papers and shoes while you were having a blast. It was an amazing night. He smiled quietly to himself, clutching the wheel a little more confidently. With the crinkling of his eyebrows, a look of nostalgia crossed over Cove's features. Mom always knew how to make things memorable. I can't deny that. Silence slowly crept back into the space, both of you thinking back on the night and all the memories you had of it. Your elbow resting on the windowsill, you gazed out at a world that was slowly coming to life as the morning rolled on by. The sun climbed higher in the sky. Luckily, the sunbeams weren't going to right in your eye. Hey, do you mind reaching back for me? Cove gave you a sidelong glance as he drove, indicating with a nod of his head and a tiny smile. I want some chips, the salt and vinegar ones. I don't know how you can eat that. He yapped impatiently, keeping his eyes on the road. I like them and want to eat them. You should have a problem with letting me since you don't even like it. Stretching out the seatbelt to give yourself some space, you twisted in your spine and reached into the bag holding the snacks. It took a bit of effort to sort through the collection of goodies stuffed inside, but eventually the bag of chips crinkled beneath your fingers as you pulled them out and sat back in your seat. Here. Thanks. Do you mind opening it? His eyes lit up at the prospect of the snacks and you shook your head in amusement, popping the top of the bag. Want me to feed them to you? His eyes widened at the hint of blush creeping over his cheeks, but he steadfastly continued to face the road. No, that's okay. Can you just pour a few in my hand? Yeah, sure. Thanks. Cove held out one outstretched hand. You did your best to have the chips fall into his palm, but some did end up on the floor. After that, you rolled up the top of the bag and stowed the chips safely in the back again. When you turned to the front, it was to find Cove crushing the fistful of chips into his mouth, crunching loudly. He wiped his hand on his pants absentmindedly before gripping the wheel and spilling crumbs all over the place. I'm impressed. Cove mumbled through his mouthful of chips, giving you a brief thumbs up. You smiled back, shaking your head in amusement at his antics. The hours drifted by much the same as that, with the two of you snacking and chatting as the day stretched on. It was fairly calm and quiet traveling along the open road, and you found little in the way of interruptions. At one point you passed a "Welcome to Nevada" sign, and Cove gave a tiny cheer. He was in disbelief the two of you were seriously all the way in another state like this. Eventually you had to stop for gas and made a detour at a small diner to grab a proper meal that didn't consist of chips and candy. After refueling the car and your stomachs, the drive was back on, just as the sun began dipping beneath the horizon and bathing the sky in a wash of orange light. Cove informed you that there wasn't too much longer left to go. You were almost there. When night eventually fell in a blanket of darkness, the drive finally came to an end. Cove pulled into the parking lot of Kyra's apartment building, the glow of the car lights disappearing as he turned off the engine and let off a heavy sigh. We made it. We're here. The two of you exchanged tired smiles, having successfully and safely completed one half of the trip. You were relieved to have actually arrived, and eager to get out of the car and stretch your legs. You took the stairs up to the building together. After a knock, you were abruptly met by a flash of green hair as Kyra opened the door and immediately took her son in her arms. Aww, her hair is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. And she doesn't look older. Why do our moms must be older than Kyra and Cliff? Aww. She's tall. She's tall because they say Cove is tall, so she's tall. I love the pillow. Love the pillows on the couch. Aww. She's so pretty. What was her voice again? It's been a while. There he is, my gigantic baby boy. She squeezed him for a moment, then pulled back so she could examine his face. Are you even taller than the last time I saw you? Cove gave you a look and rolled his eyes amusedly as she patted the tops of his shoulder proudly. You say that every time I hear it. It doesn't even make sense right now. My last visit wasn't that long ago. Kyra simply laughed before letting him go fully and ushering the two of you into her apartment. Then she turned to you, a wide grin pulling at her lips. Alright, it's so nice you came along with, and as a bonus, you both arrived in one piece. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. Kyra beamed at both of you, and while you would have loved nothing more than to settle down and rest after the drive, you could see she wasn't going to let you go that easily. So, how was the trip? I admit I was just a pinch worried. We barely made it. As a bonus, you're in one piece, yeah. She's cute. She's a cute mom. Cove gave you a dry look, a small smile tilting his lips. We handled it just fine. Kyra clapped her hands together, the bracelets around her wrists jingling. I'm so proud. I can hardly believe how mature you both are. Where did all those smarts come from? Cove ran a hand over his hair with an awkward chuckle. I don't know. Maybe I got them from my parents. His mom looked at him deeply, her eyes glistening as she shook the sentimentality off with a wave of her hand. You have to be half asleep already, huh? I don't want to keep you up much longer. Early morning and any whoosies. That's so cute. Any whoosies. That's so cute. How do you want to deal with the sleeping arrangements? I've only got my own room in Cove, so the living room couch isn't bad. You keep your bed, Mom. Ara can use mine and I'll sleep on the couch or the floor. Whatever's easiest. It doesn't matter for one night. Kyra laughed out loud, startling you both. You raised an eyebrow at her outburst, giving her a quizzical look. Oh yeah, you'll just stay on the floor. You couldn't handle that much back when you were 13 with both your parents in the room. Cove blushed a dark red and gaped, completely unprepared for her to pull out that embarrassing moment from the past. Hey. Mom! Let's blush. Is it really necessary to talk about this? I'll sleep on the couch. Cove shook his head, dismissing the idea immediately. No. You're the guest. I don't want to take your bed. We're gonna fight over it. Well, I still don't want to take it from you, and I said it first. The two of you narrowed your eyes at each other stubbornly. Kyra took that as her cue to step in. My house, my rules then. And you know who I have to side with. I'd like you to take the bed, Ara. You hesitated a moment, but it seemed you had to accept the hospitality. With a small sigh, you gave in. Alright. Cool. So, would it be okay with me sleeping on the floor in the room? I'd rather be there than out in the open in the living room, even if there is the couch. Yeah, you can sleep there. Kyra giggled softly, drawing your attention back to her. All funny stuff aside, you need to get some sleep for tomorrow. Seems like you're setting yourselves up to not get any. I know that sounds really captious, but I'm a mom. I have to say these things. Come on, we're not little kids having a sleepover. We're responsible adults, right, Ara? Cove is, though I can't say the same for myself. With a crooked smile, Cove shrugged and made a small amused sound. I'll leave it at that then. Oh! Oh, thank you. Hello, hello, Rainbow FNAF. How are you doing? Thank you for taking the card off. It's gonna take a little while for it to adjust both my eyes so they blink evenly, I think. Are they blinking evenly? I'm good. That's good. I'm good too. We're doing the drive scenario. And it's so cute. And Kyra's such a cute mom. She's so cute. She's so pretty. Oh my gosh. I'll leave it at that then. For now, just remember that the walls are thin in this apartment. If you can't settle down and sleep, I might have to separate you. We'll be good.
Marvelous.
Perfect. Kyra claps her hands together, her bracelets softly tinkling against each other again. It's only getting later, so I better let you prepare for bed. She nodded towards the hallway and gave you a small smile. I'll play hostess for a second, show you where the bathroom is first, Dara, and where you'll be staying the night. Thank you. You hoisted your travel bag back over your shoulder and followed behind Kyra and down the hallway. Cove shuffled along behind you, disappearing into the bedroom while his mom had you go to the restroom. The apartment was small but nicely decorated in soft, cool colors, with plenty of artwork hanging on the walls to give it character. Oh, that's so pretty. Cove being good. He always has something planned. Yeah, like, we just went through the scene where he brought a firefly after the fancy charity event. It was so cute. It was stylish and exactly what you have expected from someone like Kyra. Oh, this is a nice bedroom. After being shown the bathroom and wishing Kyra a good night, you headed into the room and found Cove already there. He had changed into a sleeper for the night as well. Looking around, you found the bedroom to look much less the same as the rest of the apartment, but with small ocean elements you were sure that Cove must have enjoyed when he stayed here. All in all, it was pretty and clean, though it almost looked more like a hotel guest room than a bedroom. Cove spent only a few weeks out of the year there, so it made sense that it wasn't especially lived in.
So?
I have to wonder about the shirt. When I picked it, I didn't really know what it was. Is it like what bird is it? I forgot about this shirt. He has very colorful clothes. What do you think? It's pretty nice, huh? Mom always keeps it clean and everything, even when I'm not here. The great room. Cool, I'm glad you like it. He seemed pleased enough with the response and gave you a small smile before opening the zip on his bag. When you went back to your room, you jumped in bed under the covers, just as Cove was shuffling into his sleeping bag on the floor. You waited until he was settled in before you flipped off the lights, and a soft glow from outside peeked through the blinds, casting shadows over the floor. You closed your eyes, blocking everything out.
Night.
Night, Aura. Night, Cove. Sleep well. The room grew quiet as the two of you wound down for the night, and you found yourself listening to the sound of the city outside the window. Thank you for the boof, Star. The noise out there was so different to what you were used to back home. Cars zooming past and people out having fun instead of crashing waves and the ocean winds cocooning your house in their embrace. This feels familiar, don't you think? We've been having sleepovers for years. Cove mumbled quietly and rustled in his bedding, turning to face towards your location.
Right?
Right? It feels like I've had this view so many times, looking up over at you tucked into bed. You trailed off a little and you assumed you were drifting out to sleep, too tired to continue the conversation. But then, as a switch had been hit, he sprung up, startling you as he shot upright in his sleeping bag. Wait a minute. Why am I always on the floor? What? You raised your eyebrows at him through the dark. The times I slept over at your house, you got to stay in your bed. It was your bed after all. But when it was my family hosting things, Dad always made sure you got a bed there. The world spilled out faster and faster, the pitch of a voice rising as the revelation spiraled. He'd say that you were the guest, so it was only right. No matter what, I've always been the one who takes the floor every time. This is a racket! You burst out laughing. How is it that only hitting you now? Don't ask me questions, my life is crumbling. Can't believe it, this has been going on for 10 years. Well, and I now have 468 hours for the game. Oh my gosh. Ah! Thank you for the hydrate, Star. Thank you for the stretch too, Star. Excuse me? Stretch! Ugh. Ow. I can't believe it. This has been going on for 10 years. He stopped suddenly and you could see through the limited light that his eyebrows were angled in disbelief, his frown wobbly in shock. That's how it is in my family. My mom's always thought that it was more fun and comfortable for the guests to use their own sleeping things rather than a stranger's bed. And in my family, the guest gets the bed because it's good to make sure your guest has a proper place to sleep. We were opposites all along, but I never even thought about it. When it looked like the situation was going to stall there, he suddenly scoffed.
It's okay.
At least you were comfortable all those times we shared a room. Even though he meant the words, he was being snarky about it. Despite looking on the bright side, he was still pouting. Save. These are cute options. We went over to him to cheer him up. I did offer for you to take the bed tonight, you know. Slipping out of bed, you kneeled on the floor beside him, though he promptly turned away from you and continued moping. Aww. Fluffed his hair. They gave him nothing else to do. You leaned in and gave his hair a reassuring ruffle, earning a grumble response. However, you didn't miss the blush that spread across his cheeks and stained his skin. I really do appreciate what you did for me. Aww. He made a sound of acknowledgement and you took that as a good sign. With a slight smile, he gave you a playful nudge to go back to bed, which, with a small sense of satisfaction, you did. With a tired sigh, you flopped back down. Oh, my cat's rubbing my legs. Hold on, let me give him a pet. I'm giving my kitty a pet. Oh. His name is Nico. Aw, thank you for petting Trixie, my other kitty. Come here. There you go. I can make... Oh, wait, I'm too far from the mic. Okay, Nico, you have to go down now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy. Bet 142 scratches, dang. 131 scratches, oof. Less than Star, though. Okay. I can make do with the floor for old time's sake. Some real humor came back to his tone. It's basically a tradition by now. Someday, kitty. Uh-oh. Why don't we share? I want to share the bed. Uh-oh. My model's going crazy a little. My eyes are closing because my cat walked in front of the camera. Why don't we share? It's big enough. Alright. Cove was perfectly still on his back, his eyes firmly fixed on the ceiling above him. I told my mom I was gonna sleep on the floor. He sounded tense, so you hadn't meant for the offer to make him so. There was a perfectly good bed in the room that you would both fit in. And besides, you liked the idea of having him close. You've done it in the past. Yeah, I know, but it was probably isn't the best idea right now. I was a pretty dumb kid.
Don't worry about it.
You're already doing me a big favor by coming here in the first place. Just let me do this one thing and give you the bed. That's what I want for this trip, okay? Pressing your lips tight, you gave a small nod and admitted defeat. Alright, I'll have the bed. Thanks, Cove. You made a small noise but said no more. With an accepting sigh, you pulled the covers up under your chin and got comfortable. Oh, I wanted to share with him. The next day dawned, bringing with the sounds of birds chirping happily outside the window. You opened your eyes slowly, letting them adjust to the light as you tried to recall where you were, and remembering the unfamiliar sights of Cove's second bedroom. Cove nudged us awake. Rise and shine, Aura. Cove shook your shoulder, and you groaned dramatically as you buried your head beneath your pillow. 5 more minutes.
No way.
We've got to get started. Sitting up in bed, you let out a yawn and stretched your arm above your head. We only feel okay because Cove didn't get to sleep in the bed with us. Considering the long drive the day before and the late night, you were feeling ready to get the day started. Though you weren't as perky as him, his energy was infectious. Good morning. You pulled yourself out of bed, grabbing a fresh change of clothes and your toiletries before heading to the bathroom. After all that, you met Cove back in his room. He was sitting on the floor when you entered, sorting through a bunch of stuff in a box, determining what to bring and what to leave behind. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, can you pull out the stuff in those drawers? You know, though he hadn't even looked up from his task, so you know he wouldn't have seen. Heading over to his drawers, he started the task of taking out various items and setting them on the ground in front of Cove. Oh hey, look at this! When you turned towards the sound of Cove's voice, you found him digging through one of the drawers beneath the bed.
Neat.
Here's something I definitely need to bring. Neat. Craning your head, you got a better glimpse of what he was holding. An old yellowing book. When you opened it up, there were a few dried pressed flowers between the pages. Those had been gifts you'd given him to him for his mom's place. Something for him to remember you by and to make his time here less lonely. He kept them the whole time. Aww. Are we gonna feel emotional or are we gonna joke with him? Save. I never know what to do. Let's just, I guess, joke with him. We were emotional last time. His eyes widened. Oh wait, what did we say? Log. I was only lending you those. I think I'll take them back now. You joked. His eyes widened in alarm, but upon seeing the smile that was pulling on your lips, he chuckled softly. I think you should probably just continue lending them to me.
It's nice.
They are special. It was important having a piece of you with me when we were apart. I feel the same way. That's why I gave them to you. Cove smiled, pleased that the feeling was mutual, but then the expression became more amused. And did you keep the souvenirs I brought back? Nope, you said jokingly. He shook his head with a grin. Thanks. An hour passed by in silence, and you were happy to see you were making great progress with Cove's room, with only the closet left to sort through. You took a minute to take a mouthful of water from your bottle and perched on the edge of the bed, feeling productive. Cove glanced over at you and paused, putting down the tape gun he had been using to seal up his boxes. You raised an eyebrow. You know, it's really strange to see you sitting in this room. Why? He frowned a little, his eyes distant, his voice quiet when he spoke next.
That's...
During the visits to Mom's, when I was sitting alone in this room, I'd sometimes think about how you weren't here. It was a weird feeling at the time that you weren't around, and now that you are here in this exact place, I don't know how to explain the feeling. He shrugged it off with a smile, a little as though he said enough already and didn't want to risk sounding silly. Life is pretty confusing is all. That's true, life makes no sense. But I think we both managed to navigate it well enough so far. He smiled slightly, nodding his head a little. Yeah, I hope so. He looked away satisfied, heading over to the closet and the last of the items to be sorted. Before long, every box, closet, and drawer had been thoroughly combed through, with the items either neatly packed up in boxes or organized and returned to their proper place. With a sigh of relief, you glanced around the bedroom and the work you had done together.
All right.
We're done. Good job to us. I'm gonna change out of my PJs for the drive. Yeah. When the two of you headed out to the living room ready to get everything finalized and hit the road, you found Kyra in the kitchen pouring a cup of tea. Oh, she looks so happy. Cove headed towards her, leaning casually against the counter that divided the two spaces. Hey, you didn't have to get up so early.
Come on.
Are you crazy? Of course I have to see you off before you go. You can't sneak away while I'm out cold. She beamed at him and in all honesty, seemed more happy to be up than and getting ready for the day. Oh, you want some breakfast? I got some... whatever that is, or eggs and toast. Oh, and some of that fruity cereal you used to love. That's okay, we should really eat on the road. Kyra smiled sadly, a little disappointed, but she seemed to understand that your time was running thin. I thought you might say that. In that case, I've packed you some snacks for the road.
What do you think?
Even if you don't end up eating them, take it anyway, just in case. You can always feed them to Cliff when you get home, and tell him I said hi. Cove laughed and shook his head, knowing his dad would love nothing more than to polish off whatever food Kyra had prepared for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. You really didn't have to. I'll definitely eat whatever you pack. Better save some for me, too. Kyra giggled, hiding her mouth behind her hand. There's plenty of there for both of you. She returned your smile with one of her own before putting her cup of tea aside. Well, I'll help you get the car packed.
Sure.
Sure, thanks. The three of you got a move on, taking the boxer from Cove's bedroom and heading down to fill the backseat of his car, until there was barely an inch of space left in the back and trunk. With all of you helping, it only took a couple of trips to move everything, and you were done before you knew it. Then, it was truly time to say goodbye. You conveyed back inside the apartment where Kyra looked over the two of you with a quiet smile. It was great to see you both. Thank you for coming. She gave each of you a hug, and you felt a little sad you hadn't been able to spend more time with her. It was good to see you too, Mom. Cove embraced her and returned, the two of them holding on to each other for a few seconds longer. I'll miss you, but I'll visit again soon.
Of course.
You better. Hey, we should make plans for you to visit us too. I'll let you know when it's settled. I'd love that. Kyra bundled all the stuff she prepared into a bag and handed them over to you. You took a quick peek at what she had packed. There was fruit, nuts, seeds, hard-boiled eggs, and some veggie sticks. I like all that except the veggie sticks.
Cool.
Oh, good to see we've got some fresh food options now. The snacks I bought weren't. Kyra shook her head at him and let out a soft laugh, as though she wouldn't have expected anything else. I seriously hope you're feeding yourself better than that at home. Yeah, of course. It's not just not on trips. I can live with that then. She looked over him fondly, her eyes at last focusing on his face and filling with emotion. I'm gonna miss you, baby.
Me too.
Aww. Thank you for letting us come. No problem at all. You're welcome anytime. Kyra put an arm around you both, pulling you in tight to her sides for one final squeeze.
Bye.
Have a safe trip. We will. Okay. With a last goodbye, you exited the apartment, though Cove hesitated for a moment in the door, his expression distant. You weren't sure what he was doing, though you tentatively took a step towards him. Everything okay? Your voice seemed to bring him back to earth, and he shook his head to clear his thoughts, his green hair swaying from side to side.
Come on.
Yeah, let's go. Excuse me? With that, the two of you headed back down to the car, ready to make the long trip home. Soon enough, you were on the wide open road in the car full of Cove's things, and only one destination, Sunset Bird, California. Oh, we live in California? I didn't know that. I thought we lived somewhere else. I mean, California does have a beach, so that makes sense. Ah, oh, I almost choked on my water. The drive went as smoothly as could be expected, with the morning slowly creeping into midday as the miles flew by. The day flew by in a whir of open road and sunshine, and before you knew it, it was early afternoon. By that point, you had already crossed the state line. Cove announced that he had planned a little stop on the way home. He was quite pleased with himself as you arrived at the precipice. The Redwood National Park. Aww. Where we went with our families. Isn't that, I think? Anyway? Shaded beneath a canopy of enormous redwood tree, you drove along. Yeah! When Cove parked the car, you pushed the door to get out, and the first thing you did was look up. Enormous redwood trees surrounded you on all sides, their massive trunks shooting straight up into a canopy of foliage overhead. There were too many of them to count, stretching on and on as far as you could see. I had no clue when I got here you were already pretty far into the story. Yeah, I'm probably 24 hours now into the story. We're on stage 3. There was stage 1 when we were 8, stage 2 where we were 13, and now we're stage 3 where we're 18. And then I think there's one more stage after this where we're 22 or 23. I believe. If I got that correct. You squinted against the sunlight that was peeking through the leaves and dancing on the paths around you. It's great, right? He smiled at you from over the roof of the car before glancing around the place fondly. Remember the trip our families took here that one summer? It was cool going on a journey and seeing the forest in person, even if we didn't stay very long. And I guess we could stay for even less this time, but oh well. It just seemed like a good time to stop by. Who knows when we'll get another chance. His voice got a little softer at the end. It seemed to be a bittersweet for him being in a place that he was so fond of, but not having the time to appreciate it fully. You were pleased to have stopped here. It was a beautiful place to stretch your legs and take in the fresh air. I'll put up with you for the trees. There'll be more chances in the future, I promise. Thanks for bringing me here. Yeah. Cole smiled, shoving his hands in his pocket and dipping his head. I'm gonna hold you to that. Two of you walked around for a while, completely dwarfed by the sheer scale of the redwoods. It kind of put your view of yourself and everything in a strange perspective. You took in a lungful of clean forest air, listening to the sound of birdsong and cool breeze rustling through the underbrush, taking advantage of the space to move around freely. However you felt about being there, it was a totally different scene than sitting in that old car for hours and hours. Walk closer to Cove. He seemed tense when you approached, but he didn't move away. Eventually he relaxed a little and the two of you walked along in a comfortable silence. Being here again, you couldn't help but reminisce on what else had happened during the trip that you had taken here all that time ago. There were a lot of things that reminded you of it recently. You looked over at Cove, who seemed to be lost in the peace of the place, and wondered if any of it crossed his mind. Smiling at the sight, you thought back of what had been the highlight of that long-gone vacation. Yeah. Oh my gosh, the anklet chat or the spending the night in the loft together. Oh my gosh. Are we gonna be cheeky or are we gonna... Well, I mean, both of them are kind of like that. Yeah, the anklet chat, I think that's funny. I haven't forgotten the classic anklet chat. That was a revelation. Cove scratched his face awkwardly and sighed, seemingly determined not to meet your eye. You know you remember. I'm never gonna hear the end of it from you, am I? You gave a light shrug. Do you still like them? Oh my gosh! I do. I think they're pretty sexy. He laughed quietly, the sound nervous and a little strained. You continued chatting about the trip a little while longer, about the things you had seen and done and even eaten. A lot of memories Cove had of the trip were similar to your own, but you were also surprised to hear a few of the other things from his point of view. So much has happened that there was no shortage of things to talk about. The place certainly had nostalgic quality about it. Your spirits was light as you ambled past information boards and picnic areas. But before long, you decided it was time to bring this short stop to an end and head back to the car to get on the road again. He thinks anklets are sexy. We're gonna wear them every time we get the chance. Even though we already knew that, but before he just liked them. Now he thinks they're sexy. So now we have to wear them. Cove sighed when you finally reached the vehicle, jangling the keys in his hand before unlocking the doors.
Well,
I wish we didn't have to go, but we're going to be responsible and not stay longer than we should. How grown up of you. Game plan. Yeah. He smiled slightly, and with that the two of you jumped into the car, buckled in, and he put it into drive. You were getting closer and closer to town as the sun started setting, though you were still far enough away that the radio stations were unfamiliar to you. Aw, the art. Cove twisted the dial. Oh my gosh, he's blinking. I was like, am I imagining that? He's blinking. Cove twisted the dial this way and that before stumbling on a channel with a song he seemed to like. That was a rare gift from the fates in a sea of static, strange radio jockeys and grating tunes. His face immediately brightened at the sound of it, and he drummed his fingers at the bottom of the steering wheel happily. Sitting back in his seat, he bopped his head along in time to the tune. The art is so pretty. We'll sing along. Cove raised a pleased eyebrow at your vocalization. Emboldened by you, Cove decided to do a little lip syncing. Every now and then a part would be stumbled over, and by the end you were both laughing too much to continue. Song ended and Cove reached over to start cycling through the radio stations again. Upon finding nothing tolerable, he flipped the dial off in defeat and leaned back in his seat with a sigh. You rested your head on your hand and stared out the window as the sky darkened, watching the landscape slowly melt into more familiar views. The miles went on and any energy you had earlier was beginning to drain away. You imagined home and your family. You'd be there together soon. You know, I've spent all these years living in Sunset Bird and taking a few weeks each summer visiting my mom in that second room. That's not gonna happen anymore, really.
I mean...
I can still see my parents, but the way it all works between us has changed forever. He paused, a silent stretching. A serious look settled on his face, his thoughts far away. Yeah, I'm worried. So many things will be different. I hope I'm ready for. Cove's mouth pulled into a tight line, and he gave a small nod. You got the feeling that he understood how you felt. Cove stared straight ahead down the long, long road. The path looked like it'd never end from where you were, but that wasn't true. Eventually he found a few more words to say.
I'm so glad.
I think it's good we were able to do this trip without any parents or chaperones. It was just us. We did it all. I don't know. I feel a little more independent now, a little more ready for what's ahead. Right? It's like a real first step to be on our own all the time. It will be here before we know it. The topic seemed to wear on Cove and he made an attempt to find something else to speak on. Aww. Oh, hello, Tika. How are you doing? 145 scratches. Oof. So I'm kind of sad about getting back. I'm gonna miss having you right there tonight. He grimaced and leaned forward, his shoulders tense and his eye hyper-focused on the road ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to sound weird or anything. It's just nice to hang out. That isn't strange. I can understand it. Cove gave you a small smile, and one that you returned. The two of you fell into a more comfortable silence. The sky outside grew even darker. Oh, thank you for filling up Star's beer mug, Tika. The sky outside grew even darker as the hours passed by, the stars blinking on like tiny little fireflies painted onto a canvas of blue. The scenery continued transitioning between open roads, industrial areas, and beach towns, becoming increasingly recognizable as time went on. You felt somewhat disconnected from the world around you as you watched it through your window, your tired mind growing hazy. It was a strange reflective feeling, but peaceful nonetheless. Soon enough the world would return to you and you'd find your feet firmly on the ground. It couldn't be helped. The adventure would end, life would continue, but your memories would linger on. Oh wow, that's it. Okay, let's go to 10. Reflection. Okay. Reflection. I have a feeling Baxter's gonna show up in these ones. Because they're the... although he did show up in one of the regular ones, huh? But we're still going for Cove. After finishing breakfast at the Holden's house, you and Cove had retreated to his room to relax before starting the day in earnest. The head pat. Cove had retreated to his room to relax before starting the day in earnest, or perhaps he would take it easy for the whole afternoon. Neither of you had plans exactly, so you were free to do whatever came to mind. Excuse me? I had a hiccup. You're lazy on Cove's bed, you fiddled with a Rubik's Cube, you stood watching Cove's fish swim idly by in their tank. Yeah, you sat on the ground doodling pictures in the sand scattered across the floor. It wouldn't be Cove's room without a thin carpet of sand covering the floorboards. You parted the fine grains of sand with your finger, occasionally swiping a palm over your design and starting over. Even with your mind elsewhere, you could tell Cove was similarly at ease. He had his chin propped up with one hand and he scrolled through his phone. A burst of laughter broke the silence, hooking your attention and bringing you back to the present. You looked at Cove for an explanation. His eyes, now crinkled with mirth, were still locked on his screen. What's so funny? Finally looked at you, smirking. Dad scanned some old photos, you know? He drew a rectangle in the air with the phone free hand. Printed out ones back from when I was little. He texted it all to me last night. I guess I've been checking them out. You were looking at your kitty photos and didn't tell me. Cove narrowed his eyes, smile still bent. I was gonna show you. I just wanted to look first to make sure there was nothing super embarrassing. You never know with my dad. He grimaced, envisioning what horrors his dad might unwittingly spring upon him.
I mean,
What if there's a photo of me getting potty trained or something? Yeah, we'll laugh. Yeah, that sounds like something your dad would do. Cove only cleared his throat nervously, the fear of his dad's well-meaning actions still looming large in his mind. Anyway, before we forget, I was laughing because I came across a Halloween one from when I was 8, the year I was a zombie, remember? He shook his head, grinning wryly, holding out the phone to you. He walked over, took a seat on the bed next to him to get a full view. Aww! Oh my gosh, I remember when he was SpongeBob. I never even liked zombies. All I wanted to do was show off my new scar, and it needed to be something scary. I couldn't be a normal person who had a scar, according to my year-old mind. I was a little dork.
right?
Dad really wanted to be useful as usual. He came up with the idea of being an undead person. It was pretty good, huh? I remember getting lots of extra candy when adults realized the scar was real. It must have been your greatest Halloween haul ever. Cove chuckled at your reply. I can't believe how much larger my scar used to be. He looked down at his arm, a soft smile on his face, and traced what remained of the jagged line with his fingers, just as you've seen him do countless times before. His voice was playful when he spoke again. Look how tiny it is now. How am I going to pretend to be tough without a big scar? Still looks cool. It's definitely a blow to your street cred. Cove, you've never fooled anyone. I know. Cove smiled bashfully, pleased with his joke, and ducked his head to look away from you. His fingers were still tracing the scarred patch of skin. Oh, James Morningstar. Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Hey, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing really well. How are you doing? My name is Ara. I'm a magician. Sometimes a clown, according to everyone. And this is Trixie, my cat. And we're playing a visual novel I really like. Our Life Beginnings and Always. Ah! Big chickens! The big chickens, because everyone liked the big chickens, so I added them. Oh, there's the clown. Oh my gosh. Hey, hello, Log. How are you doing? How are you doing, Log? You missed the moms. Or you missed, I'm awake. If you need a sleep, go to sleep, Log. It's okay. But yeah, we're on scene 3. Loggy. Hey, Blooper, welcome back. Hey, yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. Is this your first time playing? Yes, it is. It is my first time playing. And we're doing the Cove route, however you say it, because I don't know, I really like Cove. But Baxter has caught my attention, but I don't know if he's an option. I don't really know. I don't know, because this is my first time playing. Oh, Log, we have a new emote made by Haru. It's, what was I gonna say? Hello, I have returned for a short while. Thank you, Blooper. And we're on, what was I gonna say? We're on the, part 3, where we're 18. We've played the other parts and it's been really fun. I really like this game. Right now we have blue hair, apparently. Aww. Oh, thank you, Blooper, for gifting Log a subscription. All the emotes. Oh, thank you for feeding Blooper 69 nice pieces of edamame. Well, as the voice actor for Baxter, I'm very intrigued by your attention being caught. What? Really? Are you actually the voice actor for Baxter? That's crazy. I was laughing about last stream. Because Baxter was in it a lot and you could hear it you could hear. That's so cool. I want to be a voice actor myself. That's so cool. That's so cool. It's your pocket mud. But yeah. Yeah, I love the voice and I kept laughing because it sounded like ASMR in my ear. Because it's so much louder than everyone else's voice in the game for some reason, and it scared me every time. It was so funny. But it's such a good voice. But yeah, Baxter caught my attention. But yeah, that's so cool. Well, now we have to go for him. Oh, thank you. I'll definitely... I don't know. We have to see more things with him because most of it's Cove right now. Thank you. I'm hoping we get to see more of him in these scenes. We saw him briefly in some of them. What were they doing? I need to check the log. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate it, James. That's really cool that you're the voice actor. Thank you for visiting my stream. I really love the game and I think you did an amazing job on the voice. The Baxter DLC gets dropped on the 19th, so you can go for him there if you want. Oh, really? Oh, you're so nice. Thank you. Oh, thank you for following. Thank you so much. Heck yeah. I'm definitely gonna buy that then. I have to write that down. 19th. 19th. That's really cool. I'm definitely gonna play that one day. Your remotes are still broken. Oh, there you go. Why were they broken there but not? That's so weird. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. I really do like having this, even if it is kind of little these days. His voice was shy, like he was letting you in on a big secret. Thank you for the hydrate. Cove turned back to face you fully, finally letting go of his scar. He was happy. That mark was a part of him and clearly had meaning for Cove. Smile back in. Can I touch your scar? Reaching over you later, reassuring hand on the arm with scar was, yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, sure. I sounded so sure about that one. Oh, thank you for the boop. I tried to fix the boop and line it up more, but I don't know if it worked. But now it sounds quieter, the sound, and I still haven't fixed the sound. I need to fix it. Maybe I'll do more recordings today. Bonk, yeah. You cupped his arm with your fingers carefully as your thumb. Sounds louder to me, really? It sounds really quiet to me. It's like very quiet and it's only in my left ear. You cupped his arm with your fingers carefully as your thumb ran down the outline of his scar. Along the rougher tissue of the scar, you could also feel goosebumps on his arms. Well, I unfortunately have to go now. Bye, Blooper. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Bye, Pocket Mod. Have a good day. Aw. Yeah, thank you for everyone who stopped by. Thank you, Blooper. Including you, Blooper. Include yourself in that. Because you stopped by too. Aw, everyone being so nice. BRB. Okay, Star. Thank you. Okay. Cove let out a choked breath with a dizzy smile playing on his face. It was evident that he liked the feeling. You stopped there, bringing your hand to rest on your burning cheek. Oh, thank you for the stretch. The motor's still broken for Bloop. Thank you for the stretch, James. Is it okay if I just call you James, or do you want me to call you James Morningstar? Oh, I just cracked my fingers. Or my knuckles, whatever it's called. James, yeah, okay. Thank you. They were lifted in a smile that you couldn't quite repress. Your eyes drifted back to the scar on Cove's arm. Scar had been there as long as you'd known Cove, though when you first met, it had been concealed by that neon pink cast. Oh, I remember that when he looked like SpongeBob.
So?
Oh yeah, it was from jet skiing. I forgot about that. Want to hear how I managed to go jet skiing when I was 8? You were initially stunned that he guessed what you were thinking, though given the topic of conversation and the direction of your gaze, it was a natural conclusion to reach. Not bothered by your reaction, Cove continued with a shrug. I don't mind telling you, it's something special. He rubbed the back of his neck, grinning sheepishly. Mostly, it's just really dumb. You nodded. That was something you'd like to hear more about, especially knowing that no lasting harm had come of it. Cove stared into the distance, lips parted as he readied the story in his mind. So me, my dad, and my mom were at a party. I don't know if it was casual get-together or a specific celebration. I hope it wasn't for something meaningful considering how I ended it. He winced and managed a bashful smile. Anyway, my mom and dad were off doing stuff, talking to people, I guess, and I was left with the other non-adults. Most of them were older than I was. Maybe all of them were? His brow furrowed and he tried to recall dusty memories. Then he shrugged again and continued. The older kids were taking turns on the jet skis. They weren't enough for everyone to ride at once, so in between turns, they were hanging out on the shore. I was just meant to just sit there with them and watch. Remembering when you first met Cove, you bet that he hadn't been satisfied with that arrangement. He confirmed that suspicion. I was pretty unhappy. It wasn't a party for me, not when all I could do was look at all the people have fun when I couldn't. The teens must have realized that, though I never hid when I was pouting as a kid. Only when you were a kid? Cove bristled with embarrassment. It looks pretty sulky to you. Come on, let me finish the story. Alright. Ah! That scared me. Thank you for redeeming the big chickens. Some of the redeems scare me, especially those ones. The hydrate and that one and the chickens scare me. I think the normal chickens. Oh, you get startled easily, just like me. Yeah, I get startled pretty easily. I'm not good with horror games, but I do like watching people play them. I'm so jump scare prone. Funnily enough, it depends on the jump scares for me. Like some jump scares will get me, some other ones I won't have a reaction to, and then other ones I'll have like a verbal reaction to. It's different every time. It just depends. Cove sighed, letting go of the interruption and picking up where he left off.
Well,
basically, someone offered to let me ride. I was way too small to drive it myself, but this older kid, they must have been at least 16, said I could sit in front of them while they controlled the jet ski. I knew I wasn't supposed to do anything like that. Still, I figured my parents were doing whatever they wanted, so why couldn't I? I nodded at the person, and I remember the other teens helping me onto the jet ski, along with the one driving. We sped off into the water. Cove smiled widely and wistfully. It was amazing at first. My hair was flying everywhere. We zoomed away from the shore. I love being out on the water like that. Too bad it turned out steering a jet ski with an 8-year-old sat on your lap was harder than a bunch of kids figured it would. The team tried their best, but they couldn't keep control for long. We got spun around and went right into the sand. You sucked in a deep breath. The other person wasn't hurt, thankfully. They held onto the bars and stayed in their seat. I didn't. Oh no. I was thrown at full speed into a rocky part of the shore near the dock. I must have tried to brace for impact or catch myself, because my arm is what I mostly landed on. He looked down at the limb in question. You could see him visualizing the long-healed injury. That sounds actually terrifying. It was pretty torn up. After that, it's hazy for me. I got taken to the hospital. I didn't feel a lot of pain when it first happened. All I remember thinking about was how I was covered in sand and the grains were uncomfortable. The sand was uncomfortable? Cove chuckled. I know, right? I did start feeling my arm later. It definitely hurt eventually. The doctor said my arm was broken along with being torn open. That's how I ended up getting my pink cast. He smiled nostalgically. That color, it seemed just nice and happy at the time. It brightened the mood, so I picked it. His smile faded. He finished the story with a sigh, his eyes downcast. I feel bad I did any of that. I hope whoever that team was, they weren't traumatized by seeing a little kid go flying into the ground. Oh no, that 14. Why is that funny to me? They were just trying to do a nice thing. Cove threw arms out to the side dramatically. I wish I knew who they were so I could give them a call and say I'm still in one piece. But yeah, that's the full story. So glad you were both okay in the long run. I'm really sorry that happened. You laughed at what a terrible idea it had been. I guess we'll laugh. We hadn't done a green choice in a while. Sorry, Cove, but that was dumb. Cove sighed again, the regret written plainly on his face. It was a failure. That's just the truth. He smiled flatly. But to my credit, I think I've grown a lot since then. Wait. Cove eyes went completely right, suddenly reinvigorated. He seized his phone and tapped away at the screen. What's up? I knew it. You weren't sure that he heard you, but he set his phone down and turned to face directly to you. His face was resolute. Though the glow of the screen was no longer reflected in his eyes, they seemed to sparkle even brighter than before. Ara, we're adults. We can decide things for ourselves now. This can't be going anywhere good. I like where this is headed. You only realize that now, okay? I like where this is headed. Oh, we're gonna go jet ski and get another scar! Hell yeah! Maybe I'll get a matching one. The age requirement to rent a jet ski in California is 18. We could totally do it. Yes. Cove beam pumping the air with both faces. Definitely the action of someone mature enough to rent a vehicle. Alright. With a moment, Cove had recovered and returned to his serious expression from before. I'll be careful, and I really want you to be there when I try again, please. I like your vibe. Oh, thank you so much. And I really want you to be there when I try again. Please. His voice was soft and earnest. You could tell how much the request meant to him. You also knew him enough to know that he wasn't going to give up on this idea. Letting him go on his own wasn't an option. Of course I'll be there. I wouldn't miss it. Yeah, I'd be interested in trying. Cove perked up at once, a grin stretched wide across his face. He was practically bouncing in place. One thing that you'll notice is that I'll put two words together and say them. I do it all the time. Let's go. You got up and worked as a team to gather everything you needed for the trip. Cove's other aquatic hobbies came in handy, and he was quickly kitted out with everything he needed other than the jet skis themselves. You needed to run back home briefly, having dressed and prepared for a day that did involve jet skiing, but soon enough you were both ready and jumping into Cove's car. As you got in, you learned that Cove had used a brief time apart to locate a rental store on his phone. You caught his eye as you clicked your seatbelts into place. Excited, you held out a hand. Cove slapped it in a high five before setting off. I'm a dumbass. I was like, those are big jet... Are those the jet skis? Or are those boats? I forgot what... I don't think that's a jet ski. Those are too big, right? I'm a dumbass. Oh my god. You and Cove soon arrived. The ocean was perfectly inviting today. The deep blue of the water glittered under the clear sky, while the tide rolled in and out at its leisure. I'm so excited for this. Felt a chill of fear. You're really doing this. You didn't know how to feel. You felt... His excitement was adorable. Seeing how pleased... Aw. Haru, thank you. Seeing how pleased you were, Cove grinned at you.
Hey.
Oh, hey, you want to say hi to my dad while we're here? I've already texted my mom about the plan. He's working right now. You remembered how close his shop was. It wouldn't take long even by walking. Sure, we can do that. Mr. Holden was a verified stunner. You were happy to check him out while Cove checked in.
Sorry.
I wonder if that's because we picked that as an option. That we got that dialogue. Thanks. Sorry, it might be kind of awkward when he hears why we're here, but it should be alright. I mean, my parents forgave me a long time ago for that amazing stunt. I don't want to be scared off jet skiing for my whole life because of it. You wonder which of you Cove was attempting to reassure. It was only a short walk back down the dock to Mr. Holden's scuba shop. Cove breezed in as familiar with the store as he was with his own home. The place was quiet, empty aside from a counter of customers quietly browsing and Cove's dad behind the counter. Mr. Holden looked up, his friendly expression spreading into a grin when he saw who had just entered.
Hey.
Ah! My water. I'm sad he doesn't have his clavier hair anymore. Hi, Ara. Hey, sport. What brings you all the way out here? He cast an eye on the way you two were dressed. Judging by how you're decked out, I'm guessing scuba diving? There's plenty here for that. What can I help you with? Cove chuckled, amused by how quickly his dad seized on his favorite topic. On a favorite topic, or maybe it was just how his dad always fell over himself trying to be useful. Hi, Dad. We're not doing that this time. We sort of decided to go rent a couple of jet skis. The phrase jet skis that set Mr. Holden's mouth in a taut line immediately. Jet skis. He echoed the word as his eyes instinctively darted to the scar on Cove's arm. That's when... Mr. Holden started to speak several times, each attempt quickly abandoned. Cove smiled encouragingly, trying not to add to his father's worries.
Don't worry about it.
I promise I'll be careful, and Ara will be there too. We always look out for each other. Mr. Holden pinched his face back into an unconvincing smile.
Right.
Alright, you're a whole lot bigger now than you were back then. Heck, you can drive a car and everything. I'm sure you and Ara will have plenty of fun. The worry still echoed in his voice, barely concealed by the positive words, but Cove was... buoyed? I don't know. By his father's support. Yeah, well, we're all set. We only stopped by to say hi and let you know since we're over here. Mr. Holden beamed, obviously moved by his son's simple consideration. Wow, you're so thoughtful. Thanks for taking the time. Dad, you don't need to thank me for that. Mr. Holden simply laughed at his son's response. It'd be great if you could keep me in the loop while you're out there too. Just text me and let me know if it's going well or anything. I will. His dad smiled more easily.
Great.
Cove rubbed at his arm, causing Mr. Holden's eyes to momentarily twitch at it back to the childhood injury.
Bye.
We're gonna head out. See you later. Oh, I think I did the wrong voice. I don't know. I'm bad at doing voices. Take care. See you, Mr. Holden. Mr. Holden waved you off as you left the shore. The pair of you headed back to the docks, walking side by side. After your feet hit the boards, Cove's pace fell. Glancing over, you saw him looking down, out over the water. That wouldn't have been unusual if his expression had been so somber. He wasn't geared up with anticipation or even nervousness, but with an uncharacteristic lethargy. Something was weighing heavy on his mind. Nudged him gently. Cove, let's nudge him. Huh? He blinked, startled by you interrupting his rumination.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. He sighed, though you torn his attention from the ocean, it gradually drifted back to the water. You cleared your throat, unwilling to lose him again. Sorry again. Put his hands to his face, rubbing his eyes warily. Here I go, thinking everything's resolved with what happens, and we can have fun. But I can't just enjoy anything. I had to find something else to get stuck in my head. Excuse me? You're having second thoughts about jet skiing?
No.
No, that's not it. The ends of his lips were drawn into the beginning of a frown, like gray clouds clustering to signal a coming storm. I figured my dad would be a little worried about me doing it, but what he was saying, it wasn't what I expected. He was so sad, it was more than nervous. I think it feels bad and now I feel bad, but it isn't as I'm the only one who ever does something stupid or gets hurt. It got me thinking about that whole time. That's when I realized it wasn't long after the accident that my parents separated. We'll stay quiet. As a kid, I didn't think about the consequences of my actions, you know, or how what I did impacted other people. Like, why should anyone care? I'm the one doing it, not them. It made no sense, and I still cared when other people did things I didn't like, but I was 8 and mostly just mad that nothing felt like it was in my control. You could tell he was building up to something, so you nodded for him to continue. I was pretty difficult to deal with because of that attitude, but looking back, I think that's what saved me from something a lot of kids go through. Blaming themselves for their parents' divorce. It never crossed my mind that anything I did made a difference on my mom and dad's relationship. They would do what they did no matter what. Now though, I guess it's kind of hard to ignore that thought, huh?
I mean...
Their situation was already so hard and I wasn't a good kid, so... He left his words adrift as he looked down, the conclusion unfinished. It was silence between you. But only for a second, Cove pulled himself up to his full height, his chin held aloft. Whatever he decided, he was resolute. I'm going back. I gotta talk to my dad. I'm not gonna let things be like before, where I just feel crappy and refuse to tell him what's going on. That doesn't work for either of us. You can go ahead if you want. I won't mind. I still really want to do this, and I'm sure it'll be okay. Yeah, I want to stay with you. We always look out for each other, remember? Cove smiled gently, having wanted that deep down. Thanks, let's go. You and Cove retook your steps down the docks once more, heading back to Mr. Holden's scuba shop. The customers you spotted in there before were now leaving the store, new bags clutched in their hands. You hoped that this would mean Cove could have his conversation without a public audience. This time Cove strove inside the shop with a purpose. Mr. Holden, still at the counter, glanced up to greet whoever had come inside. He's grinning as you approach.
How's it going?
Hello again. Forget something? Sort of. Cove had reached the counter now. You needed to rush to keep up with him as he crossed the show floor. Mr. Holden raised an eyebrow, taking in Cove's shift in attitude, and chose his next word with care. Is everything alright? Cove swallowed, not answering initially. Talking openly was blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Talking openly with his dad was still somewhat new for the son. You knew that he was struggling for the right way to begin. I wanted to ask about what happened. Mr. Holden winced as the word struck him physically. The accident? No, the divorce. Pained expression fell from Mr. Holden's face. Wide-eyed. What? Wide-eyed. Oh my gosh, why can't I read? His jaw slacked, he gaped at Cove.
Huh?
Why? Cove glanced over his shoulder at you. Your eyes met and you saw him. Words be hard. Yes, for me, I can't read ever. I'm so bad at reading. As your eyes met, you saw him draw confidence by having you by his side. He turned back to his father. I want to know the truth. His tone was grave. Did me getting into the accident hurt your marriage? If I hadn't done it, would you and Mom have gotten along better? No, hell no. Mr. Holden quashed the suggestions with the gravity you rarely heard in his voice. You were 8 years old. You're not responsible anyway. Kyra and I should have protected you. Oh gosh, I get it. I'm dyslexic. Oh, really? I'm not, but I just have trouble reading, like, for some reason. Reading out loud. Probably because I don't talk to a lot of people out loud. I don't know. I could understand why you're feeling that. What happened was so horrible. How could it not have an impact? It did. It was a reflection of us as parents. The relationship between your mom and me was separate and already unsalvageable. Cove turned away, his brow still furrowed as he looked at the floor. Maybe I'm being anxious and it's taking over, but it wasn't just then. I always cause problems. He plowed on, unwilling to give up without explaining his worries. What if I'd been easier to raise, or if you had me later on? Maybe if you didn't have me at all, it might have been better for the two of you. Aw, Cove. If I didn't have you, then what good would my life be? Mr. Holden didn't let the words hang unchallenged in the air for even a second. He hurried over to Cove, taking his son's arms in his hands. Cove, listen. There is only one person to blame for things not working, and that's me. Cove opened his mouth to speak of Mr. Holden, forced on determined to erase any question in Cove's mind. I'm not saying this to dishonestly push accountability off from someone else or throw a pity party for myself. You want to know the truth, so that's what I'm giving you. Your father is the reason our family couldn't stay together. You think you caused trouble? You should have seen me at your age. You're such a good kid, I can hardly believe how good you are. Mr. Holden's eyes were misty as he squeezed his son's arms. Aww. There's nothing, absolutely nothing you need to blame yourself for. I'm sorry, Cove, to you and to Kyra. Mom? Yeah, your mom. Pain eased slightly into a bittersweet smile. Kyra, she was just so smart and driven and completely bursting with life. It was as if she could do anything. You know, there wasn't a single solitary person who didn't want even a piece of her attention, just to catch her eye for a moment. For some crazy reason, she has a soft spot for my 17-year-old screw-up self. That's when we first met, though it definitely took some time before I managed to ask her out on a date. Mr. Holden shook his head, the smile melting as his recollection became solemn once more. Aww. And then we'd only been officially together for about 6 months when she found out we were having a baby. I was so worried, so scared, but she was so brave. So they are younger, okay. She was my rock, but we both knew the road ahead was going to be rockier. When we got married, I didn't see it as a dream come true. I wasn't about to start living my life in the only way I could imagine doing so. I thought what happened happened, and throwing my cards in with a girl like her was worth the risk. He grimaced, the sentence sour in his mouth, regretting his past perspective. I've been taking care of myself on my own and getting by. Then all of a sudden I was going to have a wife and a child. So I thought, alright, I better step things up and take care of all of us. And that's what I did, sort of. He rolled his eyes. I made money, kept the roof over our heads, and put food on the table. But I was always busy, focused on taking care of things, that I didn't stop to consider what anyone else was thinking or what they actually needed. I made every decision about what I did, and as a result, what happened to the family by myself, never asking your mom what your mom felt, or even wondering if she might have an opinion. I'd tell Kyra about the great place I found, or how we'd be moving there in the same breath. Or I'd spent all our savings taken out on loan and start this business we're standing in, and even more nonsense. Anything I felt I needed to do, I did. Kyra couldn't even ask where I'd been all day without me rolling my eyes like she was being a nag. I thought making sure we didn't starve, obviously, right? She couldn't trust me. He sighed, his head hung low. She went to school part-time while raising you, really knuckling down, but that didn't matter to me back then. She could have spent her days lying in bed not dying, and I would have felt the same. I didn't care. I was going to get it all done on my own either way. It's so stupid. I admired her more than anyone when there was nothing at stake. Yet as soon as responsibilities were involved, I couldn't let myself rely on her. He combed a hand through his hair, searching for an understanding of his own younger self. I'm not even sure why. Maybe I had something to prove. Maybe I'm the one who didn't trust her in the end. Poor Kyra. She had to spend every day mentally weighing the pros and cons of putting up with my horrible ideas for the sake of peace, or trying to explain to my blockheaded self what I was doing wrong. It must have been so stressful and frustrating, constantly having to let everything go, because I was stubborn and absolutely would make a fight out of it. He snorted bitterly. I was definitely stuck in my head a lot those days. Our relationship at that point was made of arguments and cool tolerance, but I still generally didn't see the divorce coming. We made it through the first few years, and after that I never really considered it ending. It was just how life was. In retrospect, it's clear Kyra's mind kept thinking on it more every year, especially because she managed to finish her journalism degree, with us being more stable financially, that is. She thought of everything, even timed it right when your school ended for the year, so the process would hopefully be all settled before you had to worry about class again. We were already talking about it before the accident ever happened. But I know I took it really hard, being a sad sack all around the neighborhood, but even that is unfair of me. When it shook out, I'm the one who got everything. Kyra didn't want to leave you, Cove. She never would have. I'm certain she felt like she had no choice but to end the relationship. The business was doing really well by then, so I didn't either time. Ah! Thank you for the hydrate star. That scared me again. Okay. Thank you for the social star. They're fixed, right? Yeah, okay. They are. I fixed them. So I had an easier time making a living. She was between jobs, and when she did get a new job, it meant that she'd be traveling all the time. That's why she willingly accepted me having full custody. She didn't get to be there when with her child for so many moments, and you had to spend half of your life growing up without your mother, and it's my fault. Mr. Holden closed his eyes briefly as he took a breath. That's it. That's the story of Cliff and Kyra's marriage. Not exactly a fairy tale, but I want to be clear. You saw his grip on Cove's arm tighten. No matter what happened with me and her, I never ever want to miss out on being your dad. Aww. Cove's throat bobbed as he swallowed. His eyes glistened glossy with tears that had yet to fall. He blinked quickly, trying to hold them back. Thank you for telling me. His voice was hoarse, little more than a whisper. Mr. Holden brought a hand up to his face and lightly nudged Cove's chin. You're welcome. You're a grown-up now, right? You deserve the truth. That's the least I can do for you. Cove managed a fragile smile. Thank you for taking care of me, for all of it. Mr. Holden brushed the compliment off with a wave of his hand.
No worries.
It was nothing. Look at where we ended up. I've got this whole entire store, a house, friends here, and a very thoughtful son. It's all good for me.
I'm so glad.
Oh. His voice was still quiet and he ducked his head shyly after saying the words. Mr. Holden patted him on the back. You could see the tears in Cove's eyes still shining, threatening to spill over. Mr. Holden put an arm around his shoulders, gently steering him towards the door. You should go have fun. Make some nice memories. Cove's gaze flicked over to you, the watery smile on his face solidified. Alright. Good, now out you go. Holden nudged the two of you out of the shop. Aww. Let me save, this one's kinda long. Just in case. You both walked silently as you made your return to the docks. Cove's face was pensive, clearly still digesting everything his dad said. He finally sighed, catching your attention. He hesitantly reached for the bag he brought and raised it up. I want to call my mom. I'm not going to leave her out of things, and I wanted to know what she thinks about what happened and all of that. Fiddled with the straps of the bags, it still remained close shut. It's not like I don't trust Dad, it's just Mom's thoughts are important too. I get it, Cove. There's two sides to every story after all. He seemed relieved that you understood. You knew he didn't want to be a bother with another delay. Thanks. Then I guess there's no time like the present. Time to ask. With a mini pep talk, he finally opened his bag and found his phone. Cove unlocked it quickly and tapped over his favorite contacts. He called up his mom and put the phone on speaker as it dialed. Kyra must have had her phone closed because she answered almost immediately. Cove, this is a pleasant surprise. I thought you'd be getting back to me later. Hey, Mom. Pause after for a second, then looked at you. You're on speakerphone with Ara, too. Hello. Oh, hello. I'm popular today. Well, what's going on? Don't keep me in suspense. Are you a pro jet skier already? Cove chuckled and scratched the back of his head. We haven't started yet. Actually, there's something I kind of wanted to ask you about.
Really?
Really? I'm intrigued. Her voice was bright and excited. Cove moved the phone closer to his face so he could speak softly, aware that the tone of this conversation was about to change. I was talking to Dad earlier. It was about your relationship and why you both divorced. Ah. That one syllable lost all her earlier energy. Cove tightened his grip on his phone. It does make sense that the past would come up today. Yeah, but... Tried to brighten the mood up again. You weren't used to him being the perky one of the two. You could only imagine it felt like a strange role reversal for him. Dad said you were really amazing. He admired you a lot. What a flatterer. She sighed wistfully and you could hear some interference. Maybe she had shaken her head. You couldn't tell for sure. Oh, Cliff. He bungled himself through regular everyday adulting and social situations in astoundingly charming ways. Yet, somehow, at the same time, he was an ambitious, slightly shady, under-the-table type of man when it came to making his living in the world. So essentially, your father was an absolute heartthrob for someone as such as myself. Cove and Kyra laughed delicately. The tension was broken into something lighter, more familiar between the two. It's cool you both have nice things to say about each other. I agree, baby. He took a moment before continuing carefully. Do you have any questions about what happened? I'm not sure. Cove squinted at the phone in his hand and he tried to think, his free hand brushing through his hair. I just kind of wanted to know, how did you describe what it was like? Could I tell you what Dad said about it?
All right.
Froggy! Hello, Ribbit Ribbit! How are you doing, Froggy? I don't mind. I don't think Cliff would mind. Whatever he told you is probably what he said to me. Alright, go for it. After taking a breath, Cove recalled Cliff's experience, doing his best to follow his dad's story. He went into a surprisingly amount of detail, and not a single thing was missed. I'm good. How are you? Oh, I'm glad you're doing good. I'm doing good too. I'm feeling better than I have in a while, so I'm really happy about that. Kyra listened on in absolute silence, letting her son speak without interruption. When Cove finished, he took another deep inhale of breath. So, what do you think? Kyra sighed softly. You heard a clacking noise like she was drumming her nails on the back of the phone or on a countertop. That definitely sounds like Clifford. Oh yeah, check the emotes, Froggy. We got a new one. Made by Haru. It's not exactly wrong, but he doesn't have the total picture. He puts the emphasis on the wrong places, I think.
Huh?
What do you mean? For starters, Cliff unsurprisingly downplayed himself more than he had to. It's a head patty boat, yes! Yeah! It's so cute! He did? Cove's eyebrows raised and his face continued to inch even closer to the screen. Well, since your dad was so praising of me, it's only fair to return the favor. When Cliff said he was already taking care of himself when he met me, he means he was on his own. Cliff's own parents weren't and still aren't friendly people. They've always had a combative relationship. Through him getting into drinking and gambling as a teenager certainly didn't help. He knew they'd kick him out at 18, so he saved them the trouble and left home at 17. He always found a way to make it work, even without support. I'm glad everyone likes it. Yes, it's so cute, Aru. Thank you so much again. I met him a few months after that. We hit it off right away. He was exactly what I wanted back then. We dated, and then about half a year later, bam! You were on the way, Cove. He laughed fondly as Cove clung to every word. I was really optimistic about it all. I couldn't wait to be a mother, and I was more than happy that Cliff was the father who'd be along for the ride. We got married quick before you were born. Cliff's recollection of our wedding dynamic is pretty spot on. He was extremely stubborn and just, well, immature. Highly immature. Her voice raised slightly, and you got the feeling she was thinking back to her memories living with him. She left the specifics unspoken. But it's not like I was growing up either. Everyone except maybe Cliff could see our relationship was no good, or at least not good enough yet to commit to. I knew, but I didn't want to give it up. I wanted to keep the family together. I thought that if we divorced or were never together, then we'd ruin your life, Cove. Obviously that wasn't true. I didn't have enough experience at the time to realize there wasn't only one option for us. Maybe things would have been easier if you had been split when you were still a baby. If we had split when you were still a baby. But it took me years to start figuring it all out. Cove nodded. Even his mom could see it. Thinking hard about something, he was likely remembering his own experiences back then. We were married, but never seriously loved each other. We hardly knew each other. I don't mind that Cliff never viewed marrying me as some kind of dream come true. I honestly just appreciate that he tried giving me my hastily made life plan a shot. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I was the one who proposed after all. Got down on one knee and everything. She laughed slightly, something between a chuckle and a sigh. It's very funny and a little sad that Cliff still doesn't know why things changed between us. It's obvious to me, and I guess he doesn't know deep down. He just never consciously made the connection.
It's alright.
I'm not even mad that he didn't stay the same towards me. Love makes everything different. But you said... I know what I said. She interrupted Cove before Cove could even finish his blurted out interjection. I don't mean Cliff and I. We were just two kids in a relationship that only ever worked when it was at its easiest. And then you were born, little Cove James Holden. I loved you immediately, and so did your father. Cove was stunned. His eyes started watering and as his mouth clamped shut. The inclination we had towards each other paled in the face of that. Our love to you was the real deal. Cliff was the proudest papa. And then in true Cove fashion, tears began to fall. He stared silent, but you were pretty sure Kyra knew the effect her words had on her son. Aww. No matter how much time passed, Cliff never got over how amazing it was that such a precious little boy was his. I should have taken pictures of how he'd pop up whenever someone referred to you as his son. She sounded much cheerier now. A small smile crept on Cove's face despite his tears. And again, he still does that now. It wasn't hard to imagine Mr. Holden lining up around baby Cove the same way he did with 18-year-old Cove. I remember how, when a real argument started brewing, Cliff had a habit of walking away to cool off. He wasn't able to handle it. Some seems to have taken after him in that way. You heard her chuckle and Cove looked down, a blush clear on his cheeks. You could just feel her smirk through the phone. She breezed over the next section airily. For our whole relationship, he always ended fights by skipping out on me for who knew how long. I don't even think Cliff knew when he'd come back. That stopped when you were born. Cliff stopped running. He was still gone a lot for work, and we still had fights, but he wouldn't leave. Said he'd go to your room, Cove. If you were asleep, he'd just sulk on the ground by your crib until you woke up. Sometimes he'd pace the room while holding you, or sit on the floor and rock you. He'd stay with you until one of us decided we were ready to talk again. We didn't have lots of furniture back then. That's part of the reason why Cliff was always hanging out on the floor. He really came to embrace it. When our relationship got bad enough that we didn't want to share a bed anymore, he always made sure I got to have the mattress. He instead set up a spot in the corner of the nursery just in case you needed anything throughout the night. He gave you more private space when you got bigger, but he still always made sure he could be there for you. There's no denying whether Cliff understands or not, he made his choices without prioritizing me. But it wasn't that he suddenly hated me. To Cliff, I was only a wife on paper. In his mind, I was a cool girl he had dated and generally liked, nothing close to being the light of his life. All his blood, sweat, and tears weren't for himself, or me, or even the family unit. They were all completely and totally for his baby. Meanwhile, I was doing the same, though in the opposite way. I did take us being married seriously. I was trying to force us together as a couple so we would be a complete family for our child. You felt a fly on the You felt like a fly on the wall of a very personal conversation. Cove didn't seem to notice when you looked over at him, his face complicated patchwork of emotions.
I guess.
Eventually I woke up and saw what I was doing. I realized it wasn't gonna work, not like that. When I was ready for it, I talked to Cliff about separating and starting up the divorce process. He was shocked by it, and unfortunately it wasn't too long after when you had your accident, Cove. I don't know how much Cove really told you about it, but when he broke his arm, it terrified all of us. Cove could have died. Even back then, we know he'd only likely have a permanent scar he had to live with forever. Our parenting hurt our child, and he was the one who had to carry the repercussions. You were a bit taken back to be referred to directly. You still felt a little out of place, and she seemed completely focused on her son. Cove grimaced, and the hand holding his phone shook. Mom. Kyra continued as she never paused. It was heartbreaking, and then on top of it all, we had to put you through your parents breaking up? Taking that back wasn't an option despite the timing. It felt like everything we had worked so hard for to make you happy was for nothing. I chose to believe we fixed our lives from there, but to Cliff it seemed hopeless. He failed his son. It was easier for me in some ways. I had my family to lean on. That made it less daunting, less impossible. Cliff had only really known being on his own by the happenstance of his birth and then by choice. When we broke up, he knew he was going to have to put back the pieces of what was left, alone. I wanted to be there for him even after everything, but I was the one divorcing him. It was impossible. I never managed to be someone he truly relied on, and I had to remember that wasn't changing. As bleak as it felt at the time, Cliff still tried not to let any of that show to you, Cove. He did what he could to keep your spirits high about the move, your new house, the scar, everything. So that's why. Cove trailed off. He had misunderstood the impact of his injury had on his parents. You were reminded of something that made more sense now. Mr. Holden had been so helpful with Cove's old Halloween costume because he didn't want Cove to be saddened by the scar. It was clear Cove was coming to the same realizations. Now with all that said, if Cliff was completely perfect and wonderful guy, I wouldn't have left him. If it was even pretty good, I would have stayed. It was hard not to have custody. Sometimes I felt like I was a fun aunt rather than the mom I always wanted to be. I might have overcompensated a little at times because of that. She forced a laugh, but it was an uncomfortable edge to it. You could tell she was trying to blow off a very real anxiety of hers. Cove looked ready to say something, but his mom kept talking and kept moving forward. Still, it's not Cliff's fault alone that our marriage didn't work. We were always better as co-parents than spouses, but I knew when separating that it wasn't going to be even. And Cole, the only reason I could stand not being there for you all the time is because I knew if the situation was reversed and I could have provided a more stable environment, Cliff would have done the same. Your dad would give up his house, his shop. I had to go make a doctor's appointment. Now I'm back. Oh, welcome back, James. Your dad would give up his house, his shop, even his right arm if it would guarantee that you were safe and happy. So as painful as it was, I'm sure you'd be okay because you were still with someone who loved you more than anything else in the world. Cove lowered his head, tears falling to the ground. He tried to speak. It took him a few tries. Aww. This is so sad. Let me save it real quick. That was a lot. Thank you for telling me. His voice cracked and Kyra made an alarm sound on the other end of the line. I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to make you cry.
I get it.
It's okay. He was still crying. Everyone could tell, being physically present or not. I love you, Mom. You've always been my mom. Not some mom, my mom. I love you too. Her tone was thick with emotion. She was on the edge of a voice break herself. I'm so lucky to be your mom. She started to sniffle openly.
Don't worry about that.
Don't feel bad for me and with how I worked out. I promise that none of it was your fault, and none of it is as though and it's not as though I'm completely miserable over here. I have an incredible life with a beautiful baby boy of my own who calls me whenever he can. At that, Cove's tears only came down heavier. Oh, thank you. Kyra sighed affectionately, and you could hear the warmth in her voice. I think that's good for now. Maybe we should end the call. Take a moment. Is that really all right? He tightened his grip on the phone. You could see how emotionally exhausted he looked.
Of course.
Of course, we'll be in touch soon. For now, you'll only be able to keep thanking me or apologizing.
Hey!
Cove cried out defensively over the accusation, making his mom snicker. Bye and goodbye to you, Ara. I'm glad you're there for my baby. See you. Bye. Bye, Mom. I love you. Love you too. Cove hung up. He let his hand drop to the side, his phone brushing the fabric of his wetsuit. His other hand went up to his face. He tried to wipe the tears from his eyes. His face was red and he struggled to put his phone back in his bag one-handed. You could tell he was getting worked up. He finally just used both his hands and sealed his phone back into its normal place. Cove sniffed and then reached out for you. His hand trembled in your grasp and you squeezed back. He needed to feel your support. You want to see your dad again? He didn't have to tell you what was on his mind for this. Cove nodded his head weakly. You rushed back the way you came, feet pounding across the boards of the doctor returned to the scuba shop for the third time. You reached his dad's door and Cove still wasn't slowing down. He pushed his way through the door at full speed. His hand released yours as he charged in. Mr. Holland had been walking around the middle of the store checking over things. Immediately he turned out the sound.
What's wrong?
Where's the fire? That's so cute. He froze when he got a look at Cove's face. He worriedly opened his mouth, probably to ask what was wrong, but then Cove launched himself at his father. Cove threw his arms around Mr. Holden's neck. He buried his face in his dad's shoulder and started to sob with deep, hitching breaths. Aww. Cliff clearly had no idea what was going on, and his hands hovered awkwardly in the air. He looked at you for a brief second, hoping for understanding before turning all his attention on Cove. Aww. He wrapped both his arms around Cove's back. Cove looked secure in his father's embrace, protected and safe. Aww. It's okay. It'll be okay. Whatever it is, it's going to be okay. Cove kept crying. He inhaled deeply, his voice choking up whenever he tried to speak.
I'm so sorry.
You always tried to be there for me when I was growing up, and I was mean to you. I'm sorry.
What?
Oh, Froggy. Mr. Holden was completely taken aback. He hadn't expected this to be the issue. I don't have to... you don't have to apologize for that, bud. Kids are allowed to be mad at their parents. My job to take care of you. I really didn't do anything special. Cove shook his head as empathetically as he could while still tucked against his dad. You've always supported me no matter what. You've always loved me. I wish I realized how much you did sooner. Cove squeezed him tighter. Thank you. I love you, Dad. At his son's heartfelt confession, the father became choked up as well. He compressed Cove into a crushing hug. Aww. I do love you. I always will. You can count on that. I want to be there for you, too. They clung on to one another, absorbed in the moment. Then after a little while longer, they slowly began to loosen their hold. Cove sniffled and moved so he could use his palm to wipe away his tears. His dad's shirt was visibly damp where his face had been. Cliff patted the tops of Cove's shoulders. He looked at his son with pride. You've grown up so much. Cove started to laugh through his tears, a wavering smile on his lips. Bro, if only real-life relationships were this healthy. I know, right? You doubted that Cove would ever thought that crying on his dad's shoulder was a sign of maturity, but it was true. Cove had changed over the years. Yeah, we were wondering about our moms. You thought back to when you were little and tried to think if you'd ever changed perspective on your parents. You appreciated everything they had done for you, but maybe you could tell them thank you when you got home just in case. Cove wiped at his eyes again. You're a good dad. You're a good son. Mr. Holden was plainly touched by the words and beamed at his beloved child. Cove looked away and shyly traced his scar. Cliff chuckled and released Cove to rub the back of his neck. The earlier panic had bled off and left the confusion. I'm glad we had this talk, but what was it that made you cry in the first place? You weren't too bad when you left before. Oh. Cove ducked his head further down, getting a very good look at the scuff marks on the floor. I called Mom. I wanted to talk to her about all this. He kicked one of his feet shyly, swinging it back and forth against the ground. Things felt really hard when I was younger, but it wasn't just me going through stuff, Dad. You never give yourself credit. Cliff smiled gently and gripped Cove's shoulder with reassurance. Ow. Kyra is an amazing person to come to my defense. For me, the only hard part was seeing you and her unhappy. Everything else, that was nothing. He wrapped an arm around Cove's neck for another side hug. Cove leaned into the embrace and glanced up at his dad. Your old man is tougher than he looks. Check out how powerful these arms are. And this is 10 years on. I was in my prime in those days. Cove laughed. It was a light sound full of fondness. Okay. He quieted down a little, finding a quick moment of seriousness. Thanks again, Dad. I know you don't want me to feel bad, and I'm happy because of everything you and Mom did. I have a really nice life. Mr. Holden's countenance became much more serious. He didn't take what was said lightly. Cove, you're very welcome. That's so good to hear. Then he let Cove go again. This time they both took a step back to their normal proximity. Mr. Holden cleared his throat. He looked at you right in the eyes.
That's a relief.
I also appreciate that you were here for support, Ara. What a true friend. Cove looked back down embarrassed. Yeah, you're both so sweet. You grinned at the couple of big softies. Cliff smiled warmly. He nudged Cove gently as to say, look how lucky you are. Hey, maybe I ought to give you another $20 for all this. You put up with a lot over the years. Cove turned to you, shaking his head. I told you that you got a bad deal.
No.
But seriously, Dad, you have to stop offering her money. I could use some money. You're mostly joking. That being said, you wouldn't mind a $20 bill. Not you too.
Sure.
Okay, I'll leave making jokes about that to Cove. Cove smiled satisfied at that. Alright. Cove exhaled slowly, his posture relaxing. We better get going. You still have work, Dad, and I think Ara has been patient enough. He grinned and waved the two of you off. Sure thing. I'm happy you both stopped in, but you gotta go have some fun. Be careful out there. I don't need to go jet skiing anymore. Or if you still want to go, I don't mind watching. No way, you're a mature young man, and if you want to jet ski, then you should go out and jet ski. I'll still be here if you need anything, right? Yeah, okay. Take care of yourself. Cove waved to his dad and he started walking out. You followed. When you turned back to Mr. Holden before you went out the door, he was waving. Bye, kids. You'll do great. Once again, as had become today's habit, you and Cove walked down the dock side by side, but this time Cove had a bounce back in his step. His smile was soft but radiant. Thanks for staying and sorry for how long it took. You do the same for me. You had his back and he had yours. It was just how things went between the two of you. Cove grinned at you, all grateful positivity and sunshine. The water lapped at the dock beneath your feet. Cove looked down when a particularly strong wave crashed against it. It's weird to think about my parents' relationship. There's all this stuff that I don't know because I wasn't there or because I was just a kid or because I didn't even exist yet. It feels really complicated. Relationships are complicated. You agreed with him. Connections to other people were as varied as there were waves in the ocean. Cove nodded without elaboration. He looked out into the ocean wistfully for a moment before he shook it off.
It's nice.
I'm happy they were married, even if they didn't stay together in the end. I'm glad you're feeling better. Save. Marriage. You asked about what he thought about marriage for himself. Now you tried to refocus what it. I feel like that's. Sure, why not? If he has a bad reaction to it, we're going back. Speaking of marriage. Cove's eyes widened curiously as he turned to face you. Are you scared of it because of everything that's happened with your parents? Cove shook his head shyly. He didn't hesitate for a second. No, surprisingly I don't have issues about the idea of getting married someday. He looked at him, not bothering to hide your intrigue. He chuckled self-consciously at the reaction he got.
I mean...
Don't get me wrong, trying to actually propose would be terrifying. I'm sure planning the whole wedding would be so hard, especially for me, but just thought of having someone I love that I was married to, that I spend the rest of my life with, that doesn't scare me. What about you? Would you ever want to be officially married someday? Yeah, I do want to get married, but which one? Yes, it's something I really want someday, or I get married if I found someone really special. Yeah, I guess. The only wedding you could picture was with the perfect partner. Oh, but no partner is gonna be perfect. Someone you love dearly. You never get married just to be married, that's true. If you were going to get married, it would be to someone that you truly cherish. That's also true. Oh. You clearly decided to change the subject after that admission. Alright, no more distractions, let's go. It's time to jet ski. Yeah, let's do it. The two of you began more quickly to make your way across the boards. Despite your excitement, you were both careful. Neither of you wanted an accident, especially after what happened with Cove's first jet skiing trip. You finally got to the rental place. You were surprised at how easy the process was. It took no time at all for Cove to climb on top of his jet ski with shaky legs. Rented our own. You spent this entire time wanting to jet ski and were thrilled to finally climb onto one. It was the lime green with blue detailing. The jet ski rocked slightly and you got on, bobbing with the waves. You looked across the Cove. He sat emotionally astride his jet ski, preparing himself to start it up. Is it bad that I want to get a matching... I want to get a scar too. I want a cool scar. From jet skiing. Actually, that'd be horrifying, but... Like it sounded horrifying in Cove's story. Even from your distance, you could tell his hands were clamped onto the hands too tightly. He was stiff and nervous. We'll chant for him. You cheered him on and clapped wildly. His body language relaxed slightly and he turned his head to look at you.
Thanks.
Aw. He inhaled slowly and started up the jet ski. It roared forward. Oh, is that the new raid message star that you wanted? Were you testing it out? Yeah, after this we're gonna stop and raid B. Okay, then put that out when we do the raid message. He knelt slowly and started up the jet ski. It roared forward and you were surprised you could hear him squeak over the sound of the engine. He stopped after a few seconds and breathed again. After he calmed down, he started it up once more. Cove sputtered and stalled with it for a while, going a little farther each time. He grew more comfortable with the feel. He got the hang of jet ski fairly quickly. It didn't take him long to learn how to turn properly and left it running for longer spurts of time. Cove eventually reached the point where he only stopped to the jet ski when he had something to say. He kept shouting things at you. This is amazing! Did you see that, Aura? This is so great! You had gotten your own jet ski going as well. You made sure to keep a safe distance. Cove watched what you did with enthusiasm. Nice turn! He zoomed forward and you could hear his bright light ring across the roof. Wait, I got distracted with DM. What happened? In the story or in chat? In the story we just got on jet skis. In chat we were talking about the... that's gonna be we're gonna raid one of my friends who's having a birthday stream right now. Well, she's having like a birthday week stream, but today's like her birthday and that's the message we're gonna put out. And yeah, you cheered for him again, whooping whenever he did something fun. Yeah, we were nervous, but we weren't bad at it. Knowing that jet skis could be dangerous, you kept a healthy caution over the vehicle. It was tricky at the start. You drove it in short bursts, since each time you made it go forward, it seemed too fast. You worried that you were going to fly off or that the jet ski would flip over. However, it didn't take you long to realize that you had a decent control over the vehicle. You grew more comfortable with the controls and let yourself relax a little. Eventually, the sun set and you had to pack up. Cove was thankfully still in one piece. No gas necessary. After... Oh, thank you, Star, for gifting James a sub. Okay, I'm glad that command is working at least. I need to fix the stream elements ones too. Thank you so much, Star. And I hope you enjoy the emotes. I'm getting water. Okay. After everything was returned, Cove dug his phone out of his bag and texted his parents to let them know all about his triumph. An idea to take a photo and mark the occasion struck Cove and he wanted you to join him in the selfie. You showed off your silly pose. Cove snickered when you got into position. He hesitated for a moment before trying his own funny face. He showed you the picture and it made you smile. It would be a nice memory. Very cute, yeah. His phone vibrated only after a moment texting out. Mr. Holden and Kyra had likely been waiting the entire day to find out how this outing would go. And with the news of his success, both Cove's parents sent back how proud they were of Cove for how far he'd come. Watching and grinning in the setting sun after facing so many fears that day, you felt the same. Aw, yay! Save. Okay. Oh, the emotes. Yeah, the emotes are very cute. They're done. Okay, they're done by a few people. The head pat is a new one by Haru. All the credits are in my about section. The Pog one, the clown one, and the hugging Trixie, my cat right here, in front of me one are from CAO Sheep, and then the shooting one is from Kimori. Or Kimmy. Ah, what am I doing? How do I get out of this? Oh no, Froggy! No, Froggy! No! No, Froggy died at the end of the stream, no! No! Okay, but yes, we're gonna be ending it there and rating my friend as VD for her birthday. No, not load. Menu. Yes. Let's go to just chatting. Froggy! Use your froggy powers to come back to life! Okay. Here we go. Okay. Haru from Beastars. No. No, Haru Hiko 2000 in chat. But that's funny. I haven't watched. I need to. That reminds me. I need to watch season 2. What did I do? Okay, but yes. If you could. Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you James for coming. No, my name is. Oh, I don't know what that is, but yeah. Okay, there's the raid. There's the raid message. Thank you, Star. Oh, nice music. Yeah, it's some music that V actually recommended the website to me, funnily enough. Very magical. Yeah, thank you for the social star. But yes, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much, James, for showing up. And it's awesome to hear that you're the VA for Baxter. Already followed you on Twitter. Oh, really? Okay, I'll follow you back. I live. Froggy, welcome back to living. I'm so sorry about Trixie. Okay, let's raid. Let me get this and then go to B. Oh, hold on, I have an ad. Wait, what happened? I don't know what happened. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Let's go raid. Ah! Everyone wish me a happy birthday. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I love this game so much. Fun chill stream. Thank you. Oh, thank you for being here, Haru. Thank you so much for the emote once again. Sounds like a mixture of Harry Potter and Freya's music from God of War Ragnarok. I actually haven't watched Harry Potter and I haven't played God of War either. But maybe I'll check it out. Bye. Bye, everyone. Let me go to the ending screen. I always forget to freaking do that. You'll still hear me. Bye. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Schedule out on Sunday.